All right, around turn 20, we're going to climb 134 feet up to turn 1. Green flag. Three wide at the front. Chase Briscoe swung really wide in turn 1, but all that did was just clear him the lane. He's your leader.
Yeah, well, there's not a better sight, but here's the section that gets really tricky to run side by side. You see one car right there in the back wants to get around that pylon. That looks like AJ Allmendinger right there. If you miss the racetrack, the penalty is not worth it.
Oh, wheel lock up.
That was actually Ty Dillon in the 10.
Dive down to the inside for William Byron. Takes him 3 wide. With Hocevar and Allmendinger.
Look at that crossover move. Gained me a couple right there.
Well, and he wants to get going. And you see a battle for the lead right here between Chase Briscoe and Tyler Reddick. You can run outside anywhere you want in these sections of the racetrack. There are no limits on the track other than in the S's.
And Tyler's going to push hard to try to gain that track position, that clean air that he gave up at the top of the hill. Him and Chastain got high, opened the door up for Briscoe to thank you very much. Drive right around him on the bottom. We see that a lot up there.
Here comes Chastain to the inside. He wants second in turn 20.
And we're seeing all these guys be really aggressive right now, trying to make passes while the cars are all bunched together before they get strung out. And we talk about Ross Chastain right here. He's a previous winner. We know that he can get the job done here at COTA.
Crossover move by Reddick, trying to take it back, but here we go into that dangerous area to pass.
Let's not forget about yesterday when we saw these Toyotas take off. They didn't have a lot of takeoff speed.
Yes,
and you know, we're seeing Tyler struggle a little bit right now. He's got the track position, so he has the ability to not lose many spots and get himself buried. But that car was very good on the long runs yesterday.
And slow. To your point, if anybody was a little bit off on a short run, it was the 45.
And we don't really know where this is all going to wind up as far as how much fall off we have and how far will they fall off. So, you know, you have to be able to see what happens this first run and know what you need to do after that.
We're watching Van Gisbergen right there in front of AJ Allmendinger and the 24 William Byron, up 4 positions already.
And he doesn't want to lose sight of these leaders. He wants to try to get there as quick as he can to maintain himself in sight with that lead pack.
4 positions in 1 lap. That ain't bad.
He's okay at this.
I'm going to go back to qualifying for Shane Van Gisbergen. He was 20th, folks, 20th on the sheet, and right at the end, he went for 1 more lap, and it bumped him up to 13th. That's a huge difference in the outcome and the start of this race for him. That was a big lap.
Well, he's very confident on these road courses, but winning the race yesterday in the O'Reilly Series definitely, that doesn't hurt. I know the cars are totally different, but every time that we talked about it with Kyle Busch last week, and you can win on Saturday and have success, is Christopher Bell to the inside of Chase Elliott.
Bell in the 20, last year's winner against Elliott, a former winner here. Chase Briscoe out front, still looking for his first top 5 finish here, but he has 9 road course top 10s, 1 of every 3 starts, and finished 7th or better in 60% of the last 5 road course races.
And when we were at Stewart-Haas Racing with Chase Briscoe, I feel like his stats probably aren't where they could be. I think that he is one of the underrated road racers. I think he's been in a position to run really good.
And that's your Toyota driver profile. You know, I heard your picks at the beginning of the race. Can't disagree with any of them. My eye is on Ross Chastain, because who is in the very best position to learn from Shane Van Gisbergen? His teammate, and he proved it by qualifying outside pole here. Josh?
Well, you guys talk about Chase Briscoe. I talked with James Small this morning, and he said looking back at the numbers last year, maybe they weren't there at the start of the year. They felt they were the strongest, though, on the road courses. They said Chase put in a ton of work in the offseason to get better, and that was the start of yesterday. They had to put in work, felt the car was too tight at the start, got the car better by the end of the day, so they feel really strong about what they've gotten so far. They've been telling Chase, you're doing a great job right now.
Well, you see in the back of this frame right there, that yellow car, Ryan Blaney. He was the fastest car throughout practice yesterday. He's run up on this group already. We'll see if that speed continues today.
Well, Briscoe, to me, is a surprise. The last time we were here, he finished 6th, and that's his only top 10 finish at COTA. But here he is, driving away.
That was in qualifying. He was like 26 or something in practice, way back. Where's he at? Where's he at? Boom, got a big qualifying lap. Now he's in the lead in that clean air that we know is so important. That is the difference. That day was changed that quick.
Blaney to the inside of Reddick. This is for 3rd. Blaney has paced the Fords all week and long here.
And you see right there, he's just able to keep his car a little bit tighter and able to keep everything tidied up because of the way that his car is turning.
And we'll show you Ryan Blaney's real results at COTA, sponsored by Chipotle. Like Briscoe, best finish of 6th.
Well, and we heard them talk about his crew chief wanting to get better on the road courses, bringing something totally different this weekend. Had the speed in the car with the laps that we were able to run in practice, you know, to the 10 lap average. He was right there at the top of the board. So definitely have found the speed. The thing I want to know is what's going to happen after we get to lap 15 and lap 20 later in these runs, because we saw yesterday a lot of rubber on the racetrack, which creates a lot of fall off.
So do those drivers. That's what they're all trying to protect right here. Manage these tires, because we know that the fall off is real.
You hear that car bottoming out still.
33, that's Jesse Love, champion of what's now the O'Reilly Series of NASCAR, and making one of several starts he'll make for Richard Childress Racing here in 2026. He'll share that seat with Austin Hill, who was runner-up yesterday.
Well, Jesse's done a good job. I think for him, he's been able to run a few of these races now and getting back to a track that he's able to have some experience on. Going to get into the 60 car, Brian Prix right there. Really late into the brakes. That's going to take a little momentum away from him right here and allow Ty Dillon to have an opportunity to get to the inside.
Battling hard here for 27th. Your Ford Racing Cam on board Brian Prix.
Yeah,
getting a little bump and thump.
A lot of contact right there.
All clear.
As we ride on this Ford Racing camera, you hear Ryan really short shifting that car, and that's a common trend at this racetrack to try to keep the rear tires from spinning. He gets a little wide.
Right side, looking clear, clear.
As they head into turn 19, Jesse Love in the preferred line right there. You want to be all the way over that curb, and he's going to...
I think it's because Prix was protecting through there.
Well, that 19 curb has what we call a hot dog curb, and you actually want to split that curb, so you want to be all the way over to the left right there so that it doesn't bounce and get you too wide on exit.
That's my point, though. The 60, looking to the inside again, 60 was protecting through there, and that's why he was offline.
Shane Van Gisbergen started 13th. He's picked up 6 spots up to 7th place. The biggest mover is Kyle Busch, who has gained 8.
And what we expect the most out of Shane today is on these long runs. He has an ability to really protect the rear tires and keep his car from falling off as much as all the other competitors. So you see him catching this group in front of him, and the longer this run goes, the stronger he will get, we predict, as we think about what he's done in the past.
Regan?
Well, guys, to support what you're saying right there, you think about those 5 straight wins for Shane Van Gisbergen on the road courses. That actually started here at Circuit of the Americas last year. They struggled on the front side of runs, completely changed the setup that they ran the remainder of the season, and brought that setup back here for this weekend. Yesterday, just a little bit too tight with the nose, couldn't get it to turn. Well, so far, it has been all good things for Shane right now in the 97.
Back up to second place where Ryan Blaney is tracking down Briscoe. It's been a good weekend for Ford in the Truck Series. They swept the first 4 spots at St. Petersburg, something Ford had not done in a couple of decades.
Laying some pretty fast lap times down, still in the 140 bracket. Only car in the top 10 right there. Very fast lap times, just like yesterday.
Seven complete in stage 1 at Circuit of the Americas. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, revving up the savings on home and auto insurance. Chase Briscoe's led all 7 laps, but for how long? Ryan Blaney has been on Briscoe like a cheap suit.
Yes, he has, and it's just that car is working so much better for him all the way through that stadium section, Kevin. That car is just turning a lot closer, a lot tighter corner in every single one of them.
Yeah, his distance is just way less. But, I mean, when you look at those shallow entries, he's over the curves, lower in the corners, lower on the exit. And to me, that is just a car that, like you say, is turning really well, but something that's going to benefit as we keep running longer and longer into this run.
As long as it doesn't start getting sling happy over here and start sliding the rear tires. That's the balance of this track that you were telling us earlier. High speed sections over here, laterally the car will start getting loose, and then when it does that, the only fix is to tighten it up to, for security over here. That's going to make that stadium section worse.
Well, they've been able to drive away from Ross Chastain by 2.3 seconds. While the lap times from the start of the race to now have fallen off, about a second and a half.
See Ryan Blaney looking to the inside right here. Another late move.
Just you and him.
And again, you can just see how much better that car is turning. think he's finally, if he holds on right here, he's going to have the upper hand in the next corner. There it is.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, Briscoe knows how much better he is and gave him plenty of room to be able to finish that pass.
Clear,
and
clear by 1, clear by 2.
maybe you can learn something while you can still see him.
Better learn quick.
So Blaney goes to the lead for Ford. Briscoe's Toyota second. Chastain's Chevrolet is third. A little further back, Shane Van Gisbergen has climbed to sixth right now, and he has the Xfinity fastest lap of the race, which was pretty much a given going in.
And I think for him, he knows the chatter about this racetrack and where he qualified. And when you're on top of the game and you're expected to be the best, it motivates you when people think that this is the week. As you see a late dive right there, and those are the types of things that he's so creative with in making happen at the last second that will surprise people.
Now, I like what Michael McDowell did right there. He gave Van Gisbergen the corner. That's a veteran road racer move. Get him to pass you where it's not going to hurt your lap time or his. Now, here's this morning's team meeting for number 97.
We brought a great race car. Didn't qualify quite like we wanted to, but I don't think that's indicative of what kind of car we have for today. It's going to come down to three things: exceptional communication, exceptional execution, and let's just go have fun. Like, I think there's been plenty in the last few days that reminded us that we're privileged to do this. So let's just go have fun, kick some ass.
Stealing their beer, we're eating their chicken, all right? Hey, 97 on 3. 1, 2, 3, 97! Woo!
Larry Mack.
Yeah, I've been watching the data on Shane Van Gisbergen, and to no surprise, he just seems like he's so much smoother with the throttle. He doesn't rush it when he won't take it. Now, he just told Stephen Dorn, his crew chief, he said, my car really feels like crap, but based on everybody I'm seeing, their car is a lot worse than what I've got right now. He said, I'm actually starting to get a little bit tight, meaning the car's not turning.
Well, Larry, where I'm watching him beat him is through those S's, and you said it right there. He's just smoother on the throttle and with his inputs, with the wheel and everything else. That's his strong suit with this car, and it really is showing up through those S's in a high-speed part of this track.
And he's become slicker than a greased pig in practice. I mean, he's one of those guys now that knows everybody's watching him, and he'll go out on the racetrack, and he said it to me. He's like, hey, I'll go out there and just make sure my car is good, but I don't want to show everybody what I have in my car, because they all look at the data. They all are trying to imitate what he is doing. So
I don't know how slick that is, Kevin.
It is slick.
Sounds pretty slick.
Ryan Blaney has now distanced himself from Chase Briscoe by 1.3 seconds. Jamie?
Yes, Ryan Blaney picking up right where he left off in practice. And I was talking to his crew chief this morning, Jonathan Hassler. He said last year tire fall off was the biggest issue. And he said with the changes they brought here, he was looking forward to seeing the later part of this stage, exactly laps 11 to 20. All other crew chiefs, they were worried, concerned about it, because in practice they only saw 10 or 11 laps on these tires. But this team, very optimistic the changes they made will stick.
But a new term in the NASCAR lexicon, and we've heard it a lot this weekend, tire deg. And deg is short for degradation, and we've heard a lot of drivers talking about it. Absent Van Gisbergen, of course.
Well, and when I watch Ryan Blaney right here, the thing I like is his style is to get that car turning good, and he's able to climb the curbs and like we talked earlier, keep everything narrowed up and use that throttle. A lot of partial throttle here. So when that car is turning, you can just touch the throttle, baby the thing through the center of the corner, get it to that 3/4 mark of the corner, and then start trying to get full throttle. So if it doesn't fall off right now, he's got the pace.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit deeper, Kevin. All right, you say he gets his car turning well. Well, typically what that means is you got to free the car up, be looser, but somehow his ability behind the wheel, his inputs with the throttle and everything else, he can keep the rear tires under him.
And a lot of that is making the car drive to a driver's driving style.
That's
you
right.
want to say this guy's fast and his car's like this. Well, that's fine, but I don't drive it like that. And I think sometimes you got to fit into the driver's style to make it work.
Ryan Blaney's last lap, 1.7 seconds off of his fastest lap of the day so far. Ford, Toyota, Chevy, Blaney, Briscoe, Chastain. Welcome back to the DuraMax Texas Grand Prix on Fox, presented by Toyota. Today's aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Tried, tested, proven legendary. Ryan Blaney has led the last 5 laps after Chase Briscoe was out front for the first 8. Ross Chastain in second, Briscoe third. Van Gisbergen's worked his way from 13th to 4th, and Michael McDowell holding strong in the top 5. There's Tyler Reddick trying to win the first 3 races in a row, but he has dropped 6 spots since the start of this race. No conversation on the radio, just grinding it out.
Yeah, as you look on from the Trimble cam right here from Chris Buescher, this guy, he's actually been the most consistent road racer in this Gen 7 car from an average finish standpoint. So back there in 10th place.
Connor Zilisch started this race back in 25th. He has gained 8 spots, up to 17th. Nope, let's give him 10. 8 for Zilisch, 10 for Van Gisbergen. Larson, Busch, John Hunter Nemechek among the biggest movers. Jamie?
Yeah, Connor Zilisch, a lot of experience at this racetrack. Made his Truck Series debut a couple years ago, made his Cup Series debut last year, and I talked to him before he got in the car, and he said running the O'Reilly race yesterday, he really got a feel for tire management and what he's going to do. Of course, the cars are a lot different, but he said that will really help him today. So far, the car really good, just a little tight on the left-handers.
He came from the back to the front yesterday and was in position for a top 5, got dumped by another car, and not the result that he should have had.
Well, he's in for a steep learning curve. Even it's something that we expect him to be good at. He expects himself to be good at. He's doing a great job today. But when you go back to the qualifying sessions, I mean, that's a fine line of how you drive this Cup car compared to what you can get away with in your Trans Am car, your O'Reilly car, and all the other cars. This car is very unique to be able to know how and where to push.
See Chase Elliott there in 12th. He's dropped 7 spots since the start of this race. Carson Hocevar just ahead of Zilisch in 15th, running close to where he started. Alex Bowman's picked up a few spots. Kyle Larson has picked up 6.
Yeah, and you see the 20 car right there getting passed by Kyle Larson. Last year's winner, Christopher Bell. It's kind of a mixed bag, you know, as far as these Toyotas go. We saw Chase Briscoe take off. We're getting into that point of the run where you're going to see what the handling characteristics are of your car that you hadn't been at yet. So
absolutely,
all these guys are learning right now as they go along.
Larry Mack, 5.5 laps to go to the end of this first stage. I imagine we're going to see some different thoughts on whether stage points or positioning for the win here is more of a possibility.
Yeah, no question, Mike. I think we'll see 3 different agendas. Remember, they closed pit road at the end of the stage with 2 to go when the leader crosses the start-finish line. I look for like Ryan Blaney, maybe Ross Chastain. They will wait to 2 to go. But I think if you're well behind them and you're going to flip the stage, you're going to have to come with 3 to go in 2 laps. But, Mike, I think there's a number of drivers here that know they don't have a car that can contend for the win. They just want stage points. I think about Joey Logano. I think about Denny Hamlin. They may run it out to the end of the stage without pitting, trying to score stage points.
Well, we're seeing this 45 coming back like we talked about. Here's some radio.
Back up for racing later. Good at the moment. Just need to go a little harder at the start. Copy that.
Well, and that's a conversation about Tyler actually trying to take care of the tires, not wanting to hurt the rear tires on the car. But we're definitely seeing him flip the pace back in his favor as we go. But how many spots can you actually lose and make them back up?
Well, 8 was how many he lost. He went clear back to 8th, and now he's back up to 5th. So it's coming back to him on a long run. Might have protected a little too much there. Lesson learned, right?
Meanwhile, Chase Briscoe, who led 8 laps early, did he burn his stuff up? Because he's fallen to 6th place.
Yes.
And that's what they're all trying to understand, because you don't want to do it twice, right? You need to run the car how you had planned to run it and as hard as you can run it, because the tendencies of the race car are going to speak for themselves as you go through this run. So you see AJ Allmendinger right here going down inside of Christopher Bell into turn 19.
Quarter bumper clear.
Bell into pit road.
So Christopher Bell, last year's winner, becomes one of the first of the contenders to pit, along with William Byron and Kyle Larson. Josh?
Yeah, for Christopher Bell, he had a great qualifying effort, started the race strong, but said he's just losing too much drive, especially in those left-hand turns. He needed to come in for the stop.
A 4-tire change and a fill-up with Sunoco race fuel with zero-carbon bioethanol.
Well, and Christopher Bell, he's one of those cars
way out here, and
that I had some questions with as to whether they would go after the points, but obviously they want to put themselves in as good a position as possible to keep their track position in the front.
Ryan Blaney has opened up a huge lead, 6 seconds on Ross Chastain. And Chastain, 2.5 seconds up on Van Gisbergen, who's now cycled to third.
Yeah, and it looks like SVG's car is kind of fallen off a little bit, so.
Just picking him up and putting him down with Ryan Blaney. I mean, the only car, he's the second faster in the field right now. Flying.
Well, the interesting part is going to be when these guys start pitting on pit road. We saw a few of them come to pit road. Is what's going to happen with the used tires compared to the new tires? What position does that put you in?
Reddick and Briscoe are in. Connor Zilisch, Joey Logano coming to pit road, along with Todd Gilliland. Regan.
Well, Mike, you see the 45 car, Tyler Reddick coming down pit road there. So far, like the radio just said a moment ago, all good in the car, but this is consistent with what happened yesterday. Felt like maybe they actually saved a little bit too much tire at the end of the practice session. He's just trying to manage how hard he can go at what parts of which runs.
Roughly a third of the field pitted here with 3 to go in the stage.
I'm so impressed with the progress that this 12 car has made on the road courses, and just the way that how much different that car looks and the way he's able to drive it, Clint.
I mean, it's literally a second. 142.94, 143.87. Amazing how fast that car is still on these long runs.
Blaney
usually when they take off that fast, they somewhere is hurting. Usually the long run, not the case for the 12. Sorry.
So, excuse me. Blaney won on the Roval at Charlotte in 2018, but he's not had a top 5 on a road course with this 7th gen car. And here's the leader on pit road. Jamie?
And the countdown as he comes to a stop. No changes here. Obviously the car very good for Ryan Blaney. They like what they're seeing so far. They'll fill it up in 4 tires for the 12.
None of the rest of the top 10 came in, and pits are now closed with the new leader, Ross Chastain, going past start finish with 2 to go in the stage.
And I think with this new chase format and all the points that you have, you see Ross Chastain, you see SVG, some of these guys that have had okay finishes, but maybe don't know exactly where they are in the points and have some questions about where they might need to be. And SVG for sure. Taking those points as we know he's still learning on the ovals.
Gibbs, Bowman, those guys, they're in dire need of some points. Here's a good opportunity for them to get.
Ross Chastain, 4 top 10s in 5 races here, including his win in 2022. Larson pitted earlier, and so did Tyler Reddick. Regan, what's the strategy for Chastain?
Well, Mike, this is exactly what the one team wanted to see happen for Ross Chastain. Crew Chief Brandon McSwain told me this morning, he said if the opportunity presents itself to maximize points because of this new point structure, that they would do that. So, Kevin, you guys had it exactly right. That was part of the plan from the start of this race for them.
Well, before becoming crew chief for Ross this year, Brandon McSwain was lead engineer for William Byron, including Byron's win here in 24.
One to go in the stage right here, about a 3.5 second gap for the 97.
But as we get done with this stage, you know, these guys that pitted, Ryan Blaney's going to have a couple laps on his tire. Everybody else is going to have 3 laps on their tires. I'm interested to see what's going to happen when we fire off into this next stage, when all these guys that stayed on the racetrack to collect those points are going to have those sticker tires. We see the fall off, Clint. It's creeping in on 4 seconds for these guys. Some of them already at 4 seconds. So there's going to be a balance of whether you can or can't stay out. Yesterday in the O'Reilly race, we saw all those guys pit with like 6 or 7 laps to go. So this is going to be interesting at the start of stage 2. But right now, Ross Chastain out front, looking to win this stage and take those points home.
So as you see on our pylon, of the top 22, the only one who's been to pit road is Blaney, currently 14th. So 21 drivers have not been to pit road. The rest of the 37 car field has. Final lap of stage 1, which is 20 laps. The next stage will be 25. And the final stage, 50 laps.
Ross always been good at this racetrack. Got Trackhouse Racing's first win here. Qualified on the front row today. Track he's very comfortable with.
And look at that top 5, all past winners on road courses in the NASCAR Cup Series. Turn 20 and headed for the green and white checkered flag. Ross Chastain is going to get his 4th stage win on a road course. Van Gisbergen second, 2.5 seconds back. Micah McDowell, Chris Buescher, A.J. Allmendinger, the top 5. Gibbs, Bowman, Elliott, Hocevar, and Hamlin will each get stage points. But Ross is the boss in stage 1.
You have a funny accent in Daytona.
I feel strange.
It is way more difficult than being here as an owner.
Who's the best driver in the world?
You're rewarded for aggression in an IndyCar. I fell asleep, crashed off the road.
You fell asleep while you
fell
were
asleep driving.
Do you think NASCAR drivers get the international recognition that they should?
I got my first decent check, and I went and bought like some stupid fast pickle fork boat.
I remember that.
They're not having any fun, are they? Check it out. It's the all-new Fox Sports digital show Speed with Harvick and Buxton, fueled by Poet. Subscribe on Fox, on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Looks like you guys aren't having much fun.
Oh, we're having a great time being able to talk to all those great race car drivers and racing personalities. So it's been fun so far.
Our Toyota Racing Cam, Ty Gibbs, giving us this view from 6th place as they come around. The first 13 cars did not pit. Then Blaney, who pitted from the lead, then the next 3 who did not stop.
And that we saw a lot of cars that weren't going to score points that stayed out. We would have most likely not seen that in the past. That tells me that the tire wear for this race is very much on the minds of these teams, and being able to make it through these runs and not have a bunch of positions lost with that fall off. So they're concerned about the tires and keeping that pace in them and not putting too many laps on them.
Another Toyota Racing on board, this one on Christopher Bell's, number 20. He is 28th. He is 7th or 6th of the cars that previously pitted. Ross Chastain leads them onto pit road. Jamie?
And Michael McDowell comes in 3rd of 3 spots from the start of the race. Got tighter as he ran there, but they gave him information and said, Ryan Blaney, best on tire fall-off. We're not bad. Small adjustment here.
For Chase Elliott, he told the team, hey, I can't keep the rear tires on it. We need to make a huge swing here. We are not good, so look for some major adjustments for the 9, Regan.
The one car, Ross Chastain, just needs drive off, meaning he can't get the power down as well as he wants to. 97 to Shane Van Gisbergen may have gone a little too early, too soon that run.
Yeah, and you saw right there, Ross Chastain lost the lead because he stalled the car, leaving the exit of his pit box.
Long stop for Brad Keselowski, who is still on pit road. And Todd Gilliland pitted from 16th, but the car fell off the jack and lost 7 seconds there.
Live at Austin, Texas, time for a high-speed race break sponsored by AT&T with Jamie McMurray, Chris Myers. We're trackside, sort of. Well, we're trackside. We're just way up.
Way high.
Way high. In fact, we are over. We can see all 1,500 acres of this layout from where we are. And just, yeah, the fans, they come up here to, the cars, they look like my Hot Wheels track. They're going around.
I can't believe they sell alcohol up here.
Yeah, just don't look down. There's a clear floor. You're afraid.
It's terrifying.
All right, so we're 22 stories high. It's 251 feet, so that's about 50 less than the Statue of Liberty. And this is officially the highest point you could ever go to watch a NASCAR race, be on location and be in person. It's called the Observation Tower. So, Jamie, what, in your expert opinion, have you observed?
Well, it's been a lot of fun to see how the tires are playing a factor into this race. Blaney, obviously, extremely quick, but I think it's interesting to see some of those guys that elected to not flip the stage go back. Shane Van Gisbergen and Chastain are going to start back 15th or 16th. We're going to find out exactly how much tires are worth. Even though those guys that flipped it only have 2 laps on them, it could be a big difference here.
We talked a lot about his teammate, but of course, Ross Chastain, his first career win here, his first win for Trackhouse, I got to keep an eye on. And by the way, this is 419 steps. So do you want to walk down or take the elevator?
Well, based on the amount of barbecue I saw you eat earlier, I think you should definitely take the steps.
I'll run down, as a matter of fact. Let's run up to the booth.
Thanks, Chris. All right, the stage is set for a weekend where IndyCar and NASCAR are going to go back-to-back at the same track. IndyCar Saturday, NASCAR Sunday at Phoenix Raceway. Next weekend's the Desert Double on Fox. And Saturday, Clint will get a thrill ride in the fastest seat in sports, the custom IndyCar Series car with a special passenger seat, leading the field to green for the Good Ranchers 250. Hey, John Bon Jovi's done it. Tom Brady's done it. Clint Boyer will do it.
What have I gotten into, Kevin?
Yeah, I just hope you don't. I hope you aren't sick when you get done. I know you've gotten weak in your old age.
Well, I appreciate that. I would second that hope. I kind of feel bad, Kevin. I don't know. We sold our fans on everybody but who, when we got done with practice yesterday, both of us thought was pretty darn sporty, and that's Ryan Blaney. What were we thinking?
Well, we weren't paying attention to the numbers because the numbers have backed themselves up from practice with that 12 car of Ryan Blaney. So he whooped him in the first stage.
Now, the first 15 cars made their pit stop prior to the end of the stage. From 16th on back, everybody stopped at the end of the stage. Prix and Herbst too fast exiting the pits under penalty. And the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone sends them back to green.
Here we go.
Briscoe way down the inside. How's that going to work out?
Well, and you got to be careful down on that very far inside because it can be really
got
rough.
One around.
Zilisch is around.
Bracket behind you. Keep taking 3 wide middle.
High risk corner, turn 1.
Yeah, and from the first start, we saw the intensity pick up right off the bat right there with those guys in the second stage going into turn 1.
Well, puts that talented 19-year-old at the back and with flat spotted tires to start stage 2. Regan.
Well, Mike, as you saw the 45 just go by the screen a moment ago right there, problems for Tyler Reddick, left rear tire. He feels like it's loose. They may have to pit this time. Asked the team, what do you want me to do? They said, come this time if you have to.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Kyle Larson lost one here last year with dramatic result.
Yeah, and usually if the team feels strongly that they got that wheel tight, they would have said, we think we got it tight, but they're telling him to come to pit road. So you see behind him, they've got a hornet's nest back here.
Suarez around the outside of Briscoe. Here's the Brez tree camera on board Austin Dillon. Battling for 7th. Well, he's not pitting.
Well, he did take off on used tires right there. So, you know, sometimes when you fire off on these tires, the car can feel squirmy and slide all over the place. And that's not something that these guys have had to do yet until just now. So.
And Larry, a lot of times when these single lugs are loose, it happens quick, right? It's because those dowel pins aren't lined up, and that lug nut will come off relatively fast.
Yeah, we have seen it, though, go several laps, like 3 or 4 laps. We saw that with Bubba Wallace here a few years ago.
Well, let's hope that's not the case for Reddick.
Christopher Bell completed that pass, moves him up to 7th there in front of Dillon and Custer. Let's have a look back at that restart, see what happened to Connor Zilisch. Well, we know what happened to him, but maybe we can figure out why up there at Chaos Corner, turn 1.
Yeah, and the 88's going to get turned around right here.
I can't tell who that is that got in the back of him. Blue car.
SVG, he had to go all the way through the grass.
It was Suarez. 7 got in the back of him. That's a bummer. Come a long way. Yeah, you see Suarez moving to the inside over here.
Well,
oh, he clipped him trying to get to the inside of him, didn't he?
Yeah, he just misjudged the front bumper right there.
Hard to believe that nobody else hit him.
Well, we start the process over again.
Yep. From Austin Dillon. Close call there.
I did a great job.
All right, Tyler Reddick is your leader after a bit of a scare for what he thought might be a loose wheel. Here's his radio.
Getting better. It looks like it is locked either way, so if there is a looseness, it should stay consistent. It should. Best we can tell in pictures, the D10s look locked where it is at a minimum.
And Larry, what's that lock they're talking about? We've seen it 100 times. As long as it goes by that detent, that will not let that lug nut come off.
Yeah, it's a locking mechanism that springs up. It's spring loaded, and as long as that lug nut is behind that locking mechanism, you'll be okay, because the wheel will feel tight even if it's not, but it sounds like that locking mechanism is on the outside of the lug nut. Good to go.
Oh, around goes the 4. Noah Gregson against the wall, and he'll get away.
That's in between 6A and B.
Yeah, and that's the passing zone that we talked about. That was a high risk right there.
Don't do it, right?
Yeah, somebody never comes out on the other side.
Now, he was the last of the drivers that had pitted before the end of the stage and was running 16th when he spun.
And honestly,
Tyler Reddick has had a busy week, not just winning Atlanta, but one day later, he stayed in Atlanta and drove World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk to WWE Monday Night Raw. CM Punk helped Reddick celebrate his first 2 victories of the season with a dramatic entrance and hey, how about a championship belt?
Oh, cool. Good burnout, too.
Yep. Reddick, Blaney, Byron, Toyota, Ford, Chevy in the first 3 spots.
Well, we've heard a lot of chatter, and Tyler Reddick being one of those guys that talked about how much speed they had taken off. And I think we're going to see a lot of adjustments with guys as they go into this second stage takeoff right here as to how hard they need to push their cars. Which to me, Clinton, will probably lead to cars falling off more than they thought were going to fall off because they went too far on the front side. So that's a tricky balance to be able to figure out.
Well, a lot of times that's the only way you can get the track position too. It's just, you can't give it all back either. I mean, it's a gamble for sure. It's a big part of the strategy side of road course racing.
Todd Gilliland fighting his way back toward the front in 9th place after that pit stop miscue earlier. 27 laps complete at COTA. Welcome back to the DuraMax Texas Grand Prix, powered by RelaDyne. Tyler Reddick back in command. Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Daniel Suarez, and Kyle Larson, the top 5. All of them pitted before stage 1 was over. In fact, all the first 7 cars, and Todd Gilliland in 9th. Of those that pitted after the end of the stage, Shane Van Gisbergen and A.J. Allmendinger have worked their way up into the top 10.
Well, I can tell you the one that I like the most, that I think was the biggest benefactor, is right here, Daniel Suarez in the 7 car, running 4th and running good lap times. He was 22nd before the stage end. That is a massive turnaround for their day.
Kyle Larson about a second behind Suarez in 5th, with a slight margin there on Christopher Bell. Regan.
Well, Mike, you see Kyle Larson, a nice move up from where he started in 15th to 5th, but today the first really warm weather race that we have had this year, and Kyle reported to his team under the most recent yellow for the stage break, his cool shirt is not working. He does run the cool shirt as well as a helmet hose, so he does have air to his helmet, but Kevin and Clint, you know as well as I do, if that shirt's not working, it's going to be hot. They got a plan to give him ice packs on each pit stop.
Yeah, and it is not fun, because the first hot race of the year, Clint, is
always the one.
Always gets
call.
to you more than any other race throughout the year, because you're just not used to it yet. So when you have that cool shirt not working and him not being able to drain it and get the water out of there, that hot water is going to sit in there and make him actually hotter. So tough situation for Kyle Larson on a warm day. This is the guy that I want to talk about. He's been really good on the road courses, William Byron. He's been so quiet this weekend, Clinton. Now we see him right there behind these first 2 running some decent lap times.
Byron has 3 straight top 5s at COTA, including the win in 2024, and he leads all drivers in laps led coming into today's race. Their teammate Alex Bowman sits in 19th right now. One of the drivers that pitted at the end of the stage was Bowman. And if you want to bank like Bowman, use Alex's referral link to be entered for a chance to win a VIP race weekend. Scan the QR code or visit go.ally/Alex Bowman.
Well, he does need to go. This is a racetrack that has been really good to him, finishing in the top 10 every time here, and he needs something good to happen. He's had a rough couple first weeks. I think he's what, Clint?
32nd in points.
Yeah, 32nd in the points, but it has not been a great start to the season for Alex Bowman, and sitting back in 19th, not living up to the expectations that they have coming into this weekend.
Of the drivers that pitted at the end of the stage, he is 8th of those, led by Van Gisbergen. Couple of stories to catch you up on. Chase Elliott back in 30th had a very, very long pit stop at the end of the stage. Team was very quiet on the radio and did not want to respond to questions as to what was going on with the number 9. Also, Brad Keselowski walked to driver introductions with a cane and a noticeable limp from that broken femur from a ski trip accident. His car was on pit road the longest at the end of stage 1. They made adjustments to the right front and the left front of his number 6 Ford. But Brad was able to stay on the lead lap under caution, caught up with the field, and continues. Said Joey Hand is standing by, but Brad says his goal is to run the whole race today.
Yeah, and I think at that point it's just a pride thing and a message to your team. Hey, I'm in here to dig as hard as I can. These are obviously not strengths of Brad's in this Gen 7 car and the things that happen on the road course, but you see Joey Hand right there works with a lot of these Ford guys. Jamie?
Yeah, he really does. He even worked with Lane Riggs. He won the truck race yesterday and gave Joey a big shout out. And I talked to Joey about that. He said, I just do what I can during simulation time with these drivers. He's even giving nuggets to Brad Keselowski, who obviously is struggling and the car is not to his liking. But I asked Joey about him maybe getting in the car today, and he goes, you know, I have faith in Brad. He's determined to finish this race, and he goes, I'm just going to wear my shorts out here so I know I'm not getting in the race car.
Yeah, notice he's not suited up for duty.
It wouldn't take him long.
Oh, no. Tyler Reddick leading Ryan Blaney by half a second, with William Byron a further 1 second back. Suarez and Larson complete the top 5 after 32 laps. Welcome back to the DuraMax Texas Grand Prix on Fox, presented by Toyota. Right outside Austin, Texas. Our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Legends aren't born, they're proven. Working lap 15 of 25 in stage 2. Tyler Reddick back in command. He's led now for a total of 11 laps. Shadowing him is Ryan Blaney, who's been out front for 10.
Yeah, and they're both starting to pull away from Byron. These first two are pretty evenly matched.
Kevin, how about your guy? It's not been able to run them down quite like I thought he would, talking about Shane Van Gisbergen.
On board with Ty Gibbs right here. He's running 10th right now, so on this Toyota racing camera, you can hear him hit the chip right there. Comes through this stadium section over into the sweeper here into 17 and 18. A lot of finesse through this corner, Clint, right here. You hear him upshift right there at the exit of that sweeper. Really rough on the exit of this corner. Hear the car almost bouncing off the ground right there.
Chasing A.J. Allmendinger, one of NASCAR's best road racers. And he's got a gap back to Michael McDowell behind him. We're going to go for a ride with Chris Buescher. Here's the Trimble foot cam as he makes a move to the inside.
Still there. Still there on your right side. On your corner. Clear.
Passing Cole Custer. Now, Buescher is not your traditional road racer. Watch the hand movement as he goes both hands over to the left side of the wheel in those left turns, has to come back for the shifter. But you know what? It works for him, and that's the important thing.
Well, the thing I'm the most interested in are his feet. And it really shows you how much work that these drivers have to do. And these cars are so sensitive with the modulation of the brake. You see him going into 12 right here. And that's the typical braking style. Heavy braking, and then you bleed out. And that lets the front of the car stay loaded to turn. But you'll notice that slow bleed out on those brakes to keep that front end loaded up.
And I like that when he had a chance, he gave a wave out the window at Cole Custer. Thanks for giving me room as I went by. Now he is 16th, about 7/10 of a second behind Ross Chastain. Now let's compare him with Christopher Bell and our Toyota Racing onboard camera of last year's winner.
Yeah, and you can really notice the way that they bleed out of that brake right here on Christopher Bell's car. But this is the section that is the hardest for the drivers. These S's going into turn 3 right here, you're going downhill the whole time. So you just tap the brake, and then you just load the car back up with the throttle, tap the brake again. Same thing in each S, trying to keep the car planted, and then take the speed that you feel like you can get out of that as you come out of each one of those corners in the S's. Really bumpy right here. Off of 6B down into 12. Oh, see the back of that car slide right there. Wouldn't notice it with his feet. Nothing changed.
I heard it. I didn't have to see it. You could hear it in the gearbox.
Van Gisbergen getting another spot from Daniel Suarez. There's your Toyota top performers. Tyler Reddick the leader, Briscoe in 6th, who led earlier. Riding with Christopher Bell in 8th, Ty Gibbs in the top 10. "36 of 95 laps complete, 9 to go in stage 2. Tyler Reddick continues to lead here in Austin, and you won't want to miss this one, the World Baseball Classic. Aaron Judge, Paul Skeens, Bryce Harper suit up for the Stars and Stripes as Team USA takes on Brazil Friday at 8 Eastern, only on Fox. Tyler Reddick 1 second up on Blaney with 7 to go in stage 2. William Byron 4 seconds back of the lead there. Shane Van Gisbergen 7.2 and closing.
Yeah, and it's like he just sets a pace, Clint, and sticks to it. And he talked a little bit earlier about how the front was pushing, and now we've heard that the rear grip is 50% better than the first run. But all of a sudden, it just looks like he takes off, but he just doesn't slow down from what his set pace is.
And that's what you've been telling me about him all along. He just manages those tires, his inputs, his throttle, everything better than the competition.
He is the only driver that stopped after the end of stage 1, now in the top 5. Gibbs, Allmendinger, and McDowell have made it up into the top 10 of those that stopped after the end of the stage. Larry, what do we expect as we get toward the end of stage 2?
Yeah, Mike, and that's getting close. Remember, stage 2 ends at lap 45. And if you go back to stage 1, we had a number of drivers that pitted with 3 to go. Then we had some with 2 to go, like Ryan Blaney, who was leading. I honestly believe, with what I'm seeing right now, that if you're going to chase this race win, you're going to have to flip the stage. You're going to have to pit before it closes. Now, I will say the fly in the ointment could be a man we call SVG. He's got a good enough race car. He may can chase stage points. That last stage, we're going to go back racing. We're probably 46 laps to go. There will be at least one stop in that final stage.
Stage 3 is 50 laps long, twice the length of this stage.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit fresher tires than Blaney and those guys up front, Reddick. But it seems like they're able to maintain pace. So whether that's track position or just the tire advantage.
So Regan Ross Chastain in the 1 stayed out and won stage 1, but he's only worked his way back up to 15th in stage 2.
Yeah, Mike, and completely opposite from what's going on with his teammate Shane Van Gisbergen. He has struggled mightily this run. Once he got back in traffic, he's too tight. He's sliding the fronts, no rear grip. Everything has gone wrong for this one car as they've gotten back in that traffic.
Wow. Chris Buescher right behind him. 15th and 16th here.
And that's very typical. When you get back in traffic, it doesn't do anything but get dirtier air. And when you're not a superior car, you get stuck where you're running. So it seems to be what happened with Ross. And the difference on that restart was SVG was able to get by a lot of those guys and make the passes and put himself in a better spot.
Now Zane Smith has just come to pit road, and so has Brad Keselowski. Smith, one of only 3 drivers to score top 10s in both of the season opening races at Daytona and Atlanta.
Whoa, careful. I am impressed with Suarez being able to hold on and be right there in the top 5. That was the risk. We needed to gamble to get some track position. You talk about, when I was listening to you talk about Chastain, Kevin, the other side of that equation and why you do that is Suarez. But you have to hold tough.
And behind him,
a deficit of tires, and he's doing a great job of that.
Behind him, Ty Gibbs has had speed today.
Yeah,
goes after teammate Briscoe, and here comes Allmendinger.
Ty Gibbs is looking really good on this long run right here. He's been able to pass 3 or 4 of these guys over the last few laps, so he's definitely making his way forward.
And they worked a lot on that car. Yesterday, it wasn't happy. He wasn't very happy at all with his race car after practice. Not the fastest. Huge turnaround for them.
Yeah, and you see Allmendinger closes the door on Chase Briscoe right there. Pretty tight move right there. So his Celsius on board. See that front bumper, Chase Briscoe right on the back of AJ Allmendinger's car right there. But AJ, he was like, I gotta make this pass right now and finish it.
All right, Chris Buescher is on pit road. So is Alex Bowman. Jesse Love comes in. Denny Hamlin to pit road.
We go. I want you to run hard. Go, 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 go. All the way out. Clear, clear. We're going to run hard for a cool lap. See where it settles out.
Yeah, so right now all these guys pitting, they don't think that they can make up any track position, so they want to get it by flipping this stage. So they're pitting early before this stage ends, and then all these guys on the racetrack, except for a few of them, will probably stay out and take the point. So we saw Reddick pit at the end of stage 1 and put himself in a position to flip the stage. Blaney, same thing. So we'll see what happens here as we're coming around to pit road this time.
Cody Ware in the pit lane, and we may see Reddick come to pit road based on what we're hearing on the radio, and give up the stage points to put himself in position for that never been done before three-peat of the first 3 in the season. Ty Gibbs continues to move up, 5th place with Suarez. And Alex Bowman will get an pass-through penalty for an uncontrolled tire on his stop. And here's the leader on pit road. Spin for Josh Berry, gets going again. Briscoe in the pit lane as well, so is Michael McDowell. Regan.
Well, Mike, there you see the 45 of Tyler Reddick hitting his pit stall. It's pit stall number 1 that he has. What every crew chief wants to hear from the driver, Tyler said the balance is good. Don't change a thing. Only thing he's asking for is a water bottle. That's all he wants.
More than a dozen cars in the pit lane here with a couple to go in the stage. Out on track, Blaney over Byron by 5 seconds, with Van Gisbergen in position to challenge for second. There's that battle, top of the screen.
Well, that's going to put these guys in a position that's going to have a lot more cars in front of them this time. So the task to get back to the front of the field for Ryan Blaney, SVG, William Byron, and what will probably be Tyler Reddick leading this race is going to be a much bigger task than what it was the first time. And a lot more opportunity for things to happen as this field gets more aggressive on these restarts, just like we saw at the beginning of this stage 2.
That's a great point, Kevin. The further we go in this race, desperation starts setting in. Those passes, they're not near as easy as they were at start. Here they come.
Yeah, they're going to come to pit road. Yep. Blaney is in. Well, remember, stage 3 is twice as long as this stage. Jamie.
Ryan Blaney's led 11 laps today. Said he just got a little bit too tight and he was worse on the front stretch. Just an air pressure adjustment of 4 tires for Blaney.
Shane Van Gisbergen in the number 97 having a great run back up through the field after, of course, pitting there on that last stage break. Right now he's told the team that the car is much better this time, just giving up a little bit too much with the right front. That's the corner he's most concerned about right now.
So 9 drivers have not stopped as Blaney exits the pit lane, coming toward the end of this stage.
Yeah, so you're right there. Reddick way in front of these guys. So it kind of confused me a little bit there because Reddick actually pitted a lap sooner than the pit's closing right there. So that threw me off a little bit. But those guys came in to keep themselves in position. But it worked out really well for Tyler Reddick to be able to keep the lead.
Now look on the pylon at those drivers with laps since last pit over 20. They are the ones that are going to run this stage out, get the stage points, and then get ready.
And just to correct that, that's going to put Tyler Reddick in the lead after this stage ends and all these guys pit. Right now, Ty Gibbs is the leader coming to the end of stage 2.
And he's one of the drivers that started the day in a big hole in the point standings, 100 or more points behind the leader.
Absolutely, 33rd, as a matter of fact.
Well, you take the stage win right here, and you take the 6th place in the first stage. That puts yourself in a lot better position points-wise than where you were coming into the race.
Now Tyler Reddick in 5th will be the first driver at the end of the stage who has already made this pit stop. Ty Gibbs finished top 10 in 2 of his 3 Cup Series starts at COTA. Finished second at Chicago last July in the street race. Jamie?
Typically, Mike, this has been a great place for Ty Gibbs, but yesterday in practice, he was struggling. 35th overall, but they didn't panic, came out, had a great qualifying effort in the top 10. They changed a lot of things on this race car, and it's been good for him today. Hasn't said a whole lot, but this right here was exactly part of the plan. Maximize points today and get out of this hole.
Final lap of stage 2. Gibbs 3 seconds up on Allmendinger. Suarez and Todd Gilliland overcoming that pit stop miscue earlier at lap 17.
Larry, one of the biggest what ifs here that I'm trying to figure out is what Suarez did. They gained all that track position that last time, got established with the leaders, but they didn't pit right there with the leaders.
Well, we know a lot can happen in that final stage, Clint. We had 24 drivers that flipped this stage. I do not think you can come back even in that 50-lap stage and win this thing by staying out. Yeah, right now they're in position to collect 8 stage points, but I think they've taken themselves out of the position to win this race.
9 drivers did not stop in these last couple of laps here. Ty Gibbs will get his first stage win on a road course in the NASCAR Cup Series. A.J. Allmendinger 3 seconds back, Daniel Suarez another 3 back, Todd Gilliland, and then Tyler Reddick. Stage 2 winner for Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota, Ty Gibbs.
What a start to the season for 2311 in general, and Tyler Reddick winning the first 2 races with you know, a historic moment, and it was big.
First driver to win the first 2 races since Matt Kenseth did it in 2009.
New episode every Tuesday and Thursday for NASCAR's #1 on the charts podcast, Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour. Talking about 2311, they run 5th and 6th right now. In fact, drivers that stopped before the end of the stage and got stage points. Reddick in 5th, Blaney in 7th, Byron in 9th, and Van Gisbergen in 10th.
So you flipped the stage and still got stage points. That tells you when your day's going really good, you're able to
Yes.
to do both of those things.
Ryan Prix having cool shirt issues. One of a couple of drivers. As things are pretty hot. What are we, mid-80s today? And not a cloud in the sky in Austin, Texas. There is Prix and his Ford Racing Cam.
And this is not the day you want that cool shirt to go out.
Nope.
No
I
way.
can't stress that enough, because it is a full load of work, but it's hot, and the road courses just create more heat than the ovals. So wrong day for a cool suit to be bad.
He is running 23rd. Welcome back to Circuit of the Americas. This beautiful road course at Austin, Texas, designed for Formula One, adapted for NASCAR, and great place to come see a race. Where Alex Bowman stopped by the Ally activation here to play some games, load up on some Bowman bucks, and access the Ally Vault exclusive to customers. If you want to bank like Bowman, be entered for a chance to win a VIP race weekend, visit go.ally/Alex Bowman. Bowman had an uncontrolled tire on his pit stop at the end of stage number 1.
Oh, bad roll, wasn't it? Just got over on the sidewall a little bit, took off into the next box. Oh, then it fell again.
All right, pits will be open this time. 9 drivers did not stop prior to the end of the stage, and will need a stop here. And perhaps some of those that stopped previously will come back in. Austin Dillon is in the pit lane, has been there for quite some time. He is shiftless. The shift lever is not connected. Was running 13th before that issue.
Yeah, you see the onboard right here. He's going to reach down and
they got it fixed now. But you saw him reach up and downshift. You can kind of see it in there. Yeah, here we go. You hear, can't shift.
This was earlier.
Watch this. Where is that thing?
Whoops. Oh, there it is.
Found it.
That is not great, Kevin.
Not great at all.
All right, pit road's open, and it's a busy place. Jamie.
And a big shot in the arm for Ty Gibbs and the 54 team. He said they were definitely better that run. He just wants better drive. Great run so far here. Josh.
Daniel Suarez, the initial decision was to pit when the leader did, but last-minute decision to stay out at the end of that stage. He said that car is firing up well, but at the end, he's barely hanging on with those tires. Regan?
Nice job getting stage points for A.J. Allmendinger, but that car is tight with the nose, has no grip in the rear. His cool suit's not working. His helmet hose is blowing hot air.
Wow. Packing it full of Sunoco race fuel with zero carbon bioethanol and a fresh set of Goodyear tires. Bubba Wallace pulls out in this narrow pit lane. Oops. Oh, a little contact with Josh Berry there.
Trackside at Austin, this stage break is presented by Arby's with Jamie McMurray. I'm Chris Myers. Well, the two storylines coming in, and they were the two favorites. Could they keep their streaks going? Tyler Reddick, a third straight win, possibly. Shane Van Gisbergen, could he win a sixth straight road course? And they both had different stories here. Reddick has led the most laps, started on the pole as far back as 24th. 16th is the furthest back SVG has been. He's only led one lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's been two different races for those guys. Obviously, Reddick starting up front and electing to flip that first stage, and SVG went on to run that out. And so Shane started so far back in the second stage, we really haven't seen those two together. Now they both flipped the stage. SVG's going to line up, within a row of Tyler. We're going to find out who's going to make the history today.
On our pre-race show, you picked Tyler Reddick. Are you staying with him?
I am. I can't tell as we watch these races. The drivers do such a good job of managing tires. They get out front. It's not about driving away. It's about saving as much car as you can for when you need it. It's going to get interesting now.
The last driver to tie, or at least chance at the third straight to start a season, Matt Kenseth, 2009. It was at Las Vegas. He wound up 43rd. Reddick ahead of that pace. Our Arby's driver picks to the booth. Let's go there to see what they think.
Thanks, Chris. All right, Clint, who
I get to go first?
Yes.
Oh, you're in trouble, Kevin. Folks, the first 3 races in NASCAR have never been won in a row. It happens today. The record's going to be broken from my guy, Kevin, Tyler Reddick.
Well, my pick is so easy that I didn't need any stats from the stats guys, and they can do exactly what they normally do. Nothing. Shane Van Gisbergen.
I got to jump on board the Blaney bus. He has been the fastest car in 25% of the laps run today. He's as fast as he was in practice without the fall off that other drivers are seeing late in a run.
We might be in trouble.
Well, it's going to be a battle. I know that.
We know that. Getting ready for the restart for stage 3.
I think the key to that is they're finally all 3 of those picks that we just said are up front. Now we're going to see who's got the best car.
Yeah, and that's what we want to see. We want to see the best 3 cars battle it out. But
this is the first time we've seen it.
Yeah, but the wild card in this whole thing, as it is on every restart, is turn 1. You just don't know what's going on behind you. You don't know who's going to dive bomb. You can be 4 or 5 wide. So you got to make it through turn 1 to survive this thing.
Now remember, this stage is twice as long as stage 2, 50 laps in total. We're at 46 to go, so as Larry pointed out, we will have at least 1 pit stop somewhere during this stage. All right, coming to the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone to begin stage 3. Reddick and Blaney, Toyota and Ford on the front row. Byron Van Gisbergen, 2 Chevys in row 2, out of turn 20, and here we go. Headed up the hill for Chaos Corner.
Got him 4 wide.
Nice, clean restart.
Well, we've seen Chase Briscoe do exactly what he's done on every restart so far, and that's be aggressive. He put him 4 wide, got himself back up into 3rd. Can he hang on this time when the tires start to fall off?
Kyle Busch trying to muscle and move up a bit. He led the most laps here last year. He's in that mix. Van Gisbergen inside of Byron for 4th.
Yeah, and Ben SVG wants to make this pass as quick as he can. 4 wide.
Look out. McDowell got aggressive there. Elbows up. He's not done. Trying to get the position on him.
And doing it the hard way around the outside. Michael McDowell.
Yes. Well, that's always setting you up for the next corner, which is this one. That's how you get it. That was a real aggressive move to get those 2 drivers. They'll remember that.
But you got to go while you can. While these cars are stacked together, when you see an opportunity, last stage of this race, and Michael McDowell, he knows he needs to make something happen if he's going to have any chance at the end of this race to win it. But the more these guys battle, the further those leaders are getting away.
Now there's a fellow who knows about three-peats, Michael Jordan. He's done it, of course, with the round ball, not with the NASCAR Cup car.
He's very accustomed to breaking records, isn't he?
Well, he's also having more fun than he's ever had being a team owner.
Yeah.
Winning the Daytona 500.
Whoa.
Eric Jones around.
Jones was 33rd back there with Bowman, Berry, and Stenhouse.
Yeah, and that's right off the exit of turn 1 right there. Blaney and Reddick have been so evenly matched from the beginning of stage 2 to this point. You know, it's going to come down to a pit stop, something happening on these runs that they didn't expect with their car handling as the conditions change and the track rubbers up and the sun starts to beat down on this track for multiple hours. but they have been really, really evenly matched throughout most of this race.
You saw Blaney there a bit more aggressive with the curb hopping through that part of the course.
And two totally different styles.
Yes.
They've got two totally different approaches as to how they're attacking this track. Blaney's much more tidy, narrower entries. A lot of the exits are narrower compared to Tyler Reddick.
Let's show you what happened in that spin.
Well, you heard Kevin,
Eric Jones.
All right, he's way out wide. He gets back in. Obviously gets into the 77. I don't know if they called him a quick clear right there or not, but he turned to left right into the door of Hocevar.
Yeah, I mean, as fast as the thing went left, it makes you think that, or hope that he was up on the curb or something, and that right rear stepped out from underneath him as he got on the throttle too hard or something. But
I'm not blaming that one on Hocevar.
Definitely hung a left. Eric Jones.
You know, it's tough when you get that reputation and you know how hard it is to shake. I remember one race where Jimmy Spencer got blamed for a crash. Jimmy was already in the garage when it happened, but he did get blamed.
Well, that's why I said that. This one, that wasn't his fault. There's a really good snapshot of how well Ryan Blaney utilizes the low corners and how well his car is turning as well.
Yeah, this is a great camera shot right here from up above that gives you a good perspective on all the different approaches, and you're going to see that through 17 and 18 right here. Reddick's down on the curb this time where he hasn't been down on the curb. A little bit more of a diamond. Blaney on the curb all the way around, a little wider exit.
It's hard to follow that car. I truly believe if that 12 car got in front of him, he'd drive away from him.
All right, now, instead of showing you a car commercial, we're going to stay right here for commercial-free racing from COTA as we go Toyota all out for the next few minutes. Tyler Reddick has led 23 laps today from the pole in trying to do what no driver's ever done in NASCAR history, win the first 3 races of a season.
And when you have a chance to do something like that, win the first 3 races of the season, or 3 races in general, or whatever the motivation is for the momentum and the success that you've had, it is very motivating. And talking to Reddick in the pre-race today and just listening to his responses and the momentum that comes with the victories that he had makes things a lot easier, Clint. The information is easier. You believe in things a lot easier, and when you have that momentum, you just have to ride that wave as far as you can.
You can't make a bad decision when you're on this wave.
Well, hearing his interview, in sharp contrast to last year, what he sounded was happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't he be?
And they had, he had a lot of stuff going on in his personal life that he had to deal with. He had the lawsuit with 2311 and everything that they were dealing with, not being the victory lane and getting a fresh start, looking in the mirror and saying, okay, who do I need to have these hard conversations with, and all the things that we're dealing with. They had the good conversations, and he's been very open about this. They've had the good conversations, the bad conversations, the hard conversations, whatever conversation that they needed to have, and they're seeing the benefit from it.
So Reddick, the leader, Chase Briscoe for Toyota running third, 2.8 seconds off the lead. Briscoe led the first 8 laps of this race, but it seemed like he might have burned up some of his stuff because he faded toward the end of that first stage, but he has rebounded nicely. Now, racing legend Dario Franchitti made his NASCAR return yesterday in St. Petersburg, driving a Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. Here's more on the preparation for his return to street circuit racing.
After more than a decade away from NASCAR, one phone call to legend Jimmy Johnson led to a return to racing for 3-time Indianapolis 500 winner Dario Franchitti in St. Petersburg. Thanks to a collaboration between Legacy Motor Club and Tricon Garage, Franchitti visited the Toyota Performance Center and tested a Toyota Tundra TRD Pro before returning to the street circuit. For more on Frankitti's return to NASCAR, visit Toyota Racing USA, Legacy Motor Club, and Tricon Garage on social media.
With help from his buddy Jimmy Johnson, he qualified up near the front, ran in the top 10 most of the day in St. Pete. Not bad for being out of a race car for more than a decade.
Not bad, and right now we've got a battle for the lead. Ryan Blaney was all the way underneath the 45 of Tyler Reddick through the stadium section there. Reddick fending him off, but I'm with you, Clint. I think if that 12 car gets around this 45, he's going to drive off.
And as you say that, Reddick just turned the fastest lap of the race, the last lap. I don't know if he slipped up or what. This 12 car will not go away. It's got him looking in the mirror now. You see he's protecting a little bit. If you're Ryan Blaney, that's what you're trying to do. Move around, get him looking.
And you can get away with that little fade into turn one. There's a ridge that goes through the center of that corner that you can ride off into the corner. And that's not a normal situation that you'd want to do. But turn one, you can get away with that with the way that the banking is right there.
Over the last 2 laps, 4 of the first 6 drivers have run their fastest lap of the race.
Well, they know what they can get away with. They know how much tire they have to save. They've been working and adjusting on their air pressures, their adjustments. By all right, they should be turning their fastest
and the
laps
other
now.
thing is, the sun's starting to head down. Should be on the backside of the high temperatures, but they're also getting closer to those tire packs. They're in a really good rhythm right now as far as the driver's seat, knowing the exact flow of how to feed that throttle down to not spin the tires to get the most out of it. So these drivers are in a spot at this point in the race where they know all the things that they need to do to get the most out of the car.
Ty Gibbs at the back of that pack trying to move back up through after winning the stage, stopping after the end of it. He's one of the 2 biggest movers since we went back to green.
And that car's fast, Mike, and I think that they had to take the points. With everything that they have going on in the first 2 races, they had to take that stage win. Put them in a bad spot right here, but up to 18th right now and better than most of those in front of him.
And there's Connor Zilisch, who has also gained 10 spots since we went back to green, from 21st to 11th.
Yeah, and he's had a couple of moments where he's had to come from the back. Qualified back there, got spun out. We thought he was out to lunch and not going anywhere, but now he's sitting there in 11th spot, running some decent laps.
Austin Cindric just ahead of him in 10th.
Yeah, the 2 car of Austin Cindric, that's been one that's really surprised me, Clint. When he came from the O'Reilly Series into the Cup Series, these are the places that I thought he would eventually get to the point of winning multiple road races every year. And he just has not progressed on the road courses like in the right direction. And as you see Zilisch going to the inside, I really thought he was going to be one of those guys that was the studs week in and week out on the road courses.
Well, and he's shown that, but it's just not as consistent. And I agree with you. I think the consistency is where we're lacking a little bit.
Yeah, Team Penske today is all over the map. Blaney in 2nd, Cindric 11th, Joey Logano in 15th. Tyler Reddick with Ryan Blaney right in his tire tracks. 39 laps to go in Austin, Texas. Here in Austin, Texas, things were hot and heavy. They're 7th on back. Chastain, Zilisch, Larson, Bell, all battling for position.
I tell you
37
what,
to go.
We get a caution. That 88 car of Connor Zilisch is fast, and he could be in contention to run with these guys up front.
Has been all day. He's just been knocked around. He got up there, got spun out. He gets back in the back. He's been beat up. 35 was leaning on him a couple times, but you're right. Very fast race car.
Christopher Bell moving up the inside on Kyle Larson, who crosses over and gets to his inside. Here we go.
Still there. Clear.
And Bell emerges.
Yeah, I don't know if there was something that Kyle didn't like about the way that Bell passed him to try to throw that thing back in there.
Those two have been like a magnet to one another all race. They've been beating and banging on each other. Can't get away from one another.
37 drivers started, all still running, all on the lead lap. And the only cautions we've had have been for the stage breaks.
Still by 1, by 2.
Zilisch 7th, Chastain 8th, after leading 4 laps and winning a stage.
They're still going at it back here.
Yeah.
Larson and Bell. Oh.
And here comes Kyle Busch, looking at Larson's inside. He wants a piece of this.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Kyle Busch all day, but Bell just moved the 5 car back out of the way.
Well, you got Kyle Busch right there looking to pounce, and Austin Cindric and Ryan Prix.
Well, I mean, when you race like this and you're throwing haymakers at each other, that just drags everybody else into the race.
Yeah, look in front of them. Nobody.
Side by side again. And Busch to the inside, looking to capitalize. And he gets Bell. Regan.
Well, I might give a shout out to Kyle Busch and Jim Pullman, that whole A team, the work that they've done today so far. Started 30th, said yesterday felt like a little bit of a momentum killer for him because they struggled so badly, but it is one of Kyle's best tracks with RCR. Very solid right now. Lacked rear grip earlier, as we see a dive bomb by Austin Cindric there. Lacked rear grip earlier, but it's pretty good right now.
Kyle led the most laps in this race last year, finished 5th. Since joining RCR, his average finish at COTA is his best of all tracks at a 5.0. Here come the RFK Fords, Prix and Buescher.
Well, this group right here, Clint, they are not cutting any slack to each other. It is gloves off.
Mid-pack, buddy. It's mid-pack. It's where you don't want to be.
Well, they're racing right outside of the top 10.
Well, you just can't run in a preferred line. You're always protecting one corner. That sets you up for not in the right spot for the next corner, and then they'll give you a crossover. You can't get away from one another.
"35 laps to go, and here are your leaders." Here's the Progressive Race summary. Tyler Reddick has led twice for 31 laps, 10 lead changes. Everybody's still on the lead lap. The only cautions we've had were for the stage breaks, a total of 7 laps. Chastain and Gibbs, the stage winners today.
These two right here, I mean, they just keep matching each other. One little slip up of Reddick and Blaney will be right there. They have put on a show today, Reddick and Blaney.
What this is leading to is what's going to happen on pit lane.
Exactly.
That's what's going to decide this lead, most likely, is who gets on and off of pit lane. If somebody comes to pit road before they think they're going to come to pit road and jumps them. And that's probably, Larry, wouldn't you say that that's what that 12 car is thinking about, how to be able to jump this 45 by a lap?
Yeah, remember our Toyota keys to the race. When do you make that final stop? Honestly, I think in about another 8 to 10 laps, that's when they're looking at. I personally would like to split this stage in half, which would have me coming about laps 72 to 73. That's running equal amount of laps on the 2 sets of tires. Plus, that's about what we ran in stage 1 and stage 2.
Would you take a little bit of a chance right here if you were the 12 car? Because unless Tyler, at this point, it doesn't look like he's going to pass him unless he makes a big mistake.
I think if I'm, Jonathan Hassler, I want to try to jump that 45 car and come early. But if I see that 45 coming, I'm going to be right on his heels.
Kevin, as close as they are to one another, though, it comes down to the performance of the driver, the crew chief, or the crew, everybody in the pits. Had one slow on the front stretch.
Now Christopher Bell, who was on pit road at lap 42, is in.
Yeah, the window's open now. You can make it to the end of fuel.
Josh?
Well, for Christopher Bell, that car is not like the race-winning car he had last year. He's been complaining about rear grip all race long. He's going to get those tires and fuel on his final stop.
So Bell, the first of that lead group to pit. And it kind of got him out of that hornet's nest of 7th to 12th where there was a lot of jostling going on.
And sometimes that's what you want to do. You're losing time. Him and Kyle Larson kind of got into a tussle there, trading positions, lost some time. So get yourself clear and run some good laps.
Here's the 19 radio. Briscoe.
Can't get it out of gear. What you struggle with? Only the left rear tire spinning.
Oh no, that's the car that I said was slow on the front stretch. Chase Briscoe. Only one tire spinning. Larry?
Yeah, remember, they don't have axles anymore. This is a transaxle, so it could be one of those things that goes out to the hub from the center of the transaxle that's broke. You can see it right there, the way he's having to drive that thing.
He was third when this trouble began. Tough break for Briscoe, who led the first 8 laps of this race.
Yeah, and he had a solid day. Great start to the race, kind of faded a little bit, but now he's got big problems.
And he will come to pit road. Ty Gibbs is in the pits. Remember, Gibbs won stage 2 and then came for his stop. So also in is Chase Elliott. Zane Smith is in. Hocevar, Dillon, Suarez, and Gregson. And Briscoe went behind the wall.
Mike, what these drivers would love to see that's made this green flag pit stop, they'd love to see a caution. That means they would leapfrog the leaders because the leaders would have to pit. They would love to see one coming out in the next lap or two.
And that's the risk that you run if you stay on the racetrack and all these guys start pitting and then that caution were to come out. It would flip the field. So all these guys that are on pit road, if the caution would come out right now, you'd lose all that track position to everybody that's been on pit road already. So the flip side of that is if these leaders stay out for 2, 3, 4, 5 laps, however many laps they decide to stay out longer, they're just going to have fresher tires.
Well, kind of a bad plan, though, is hoping for somebody else's misfortune to make your day.
Hope is never a good strategy, Mike.
Right. And caution flags are pretty rare here because usually if somebody spins, there's enough time for them to get going again before the field comes around.
If you were Ryan Blaney right now, Clinton, and you were kind of mano-a-mano right here versus Tyler Reddick, would you just want to pit with him? Or
I'd be trying to sell my crew chief to get me on pit road 1 lap ahead of him, probably. But they're so close, I honestly think I'm just going to tell myself I have to hit my marks. I need to roll as best I can, my entry, my exit, and the guy's got to do a good job getting M4 tires on.
Kyle Busch is in, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano on pit road. All green flag pit stops. Here comes Bubba Wallace to the pit lane. And Cole Custer.
And I've thought this a couple times today about these leaders, and I'm thinking to myself right now, Tyler Reddick starting to pull away, got himself a little bit of gap, and then it shrinks back up. So that's really been the ebb and flow of the distance of the first and second place cars.
Well, they're equally matched. I mean, I'm sold on that. You just, whoever, like you said, whoever wins off a pit road.
Well, if you look at the way the day has gone so far, Reddick has been a full second faster on each stop today than Blaney's number 12 crew.
Well,
here's Riley Herbst. He's up into the top 20. Restarted 32nd. Has worked his way up to 17th place as you watch for our Monster Energy cam.
Knowing your pit crew is having a little bit of a difficulty, that probably will maybe I want to come in a little bit early, right? And short pitting, would you think?
I think that if you're on the side of questioning anything like that, you want to be the first one to pit, because we saw earlier how big of an advantage that Tyler Reddick had when he pitted that 1 lap sooner.
Kyle Larson makes his stop along with Ryan Prix. Regan.
Well, Mike, you see the 5-car Kyle Larson pitting from just inside the top 10 right now. The main thing to look for on this stop is they go over the wall. Watch at the driver's side door. They're going to hand him ice packs, water bottles, as well as energy gummies. He's asking for as much help as he can get in that car. Keep in mind, that cool suit has not been working for him.
Jesse Love, Josh Berry in the pit lane, Brad Keselowski and Cody Ware all making stops, and everybody's still on the lead lap here.
What I see with these drivers that are short pitting is they did not have a chance at winning this race. They are trying to get off sequence to the leaders. I'd be shocked if the leaders don't run up close to lap 70, where they're not trying to run too many laps on that last set of tires.
30 laps to go.
You do not want to caution right now if you're those guys.
Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney. And you know that the crew chiefs have been working overtime, figuring strategy with the team engineers, what to do. The leader, Regan.
Well, Mike, you talk about that strategy. Part of that is telling your driver what you need out of him. Tyler Reddick, about a lap and a half ago, was told by crew chief Billy Scott that we are going to pit in a handful of laps. I need you to push really hard right now and try to pick up the pace a little bit. Jamie?
Ryan Blaney's pit crew has been ready for about the last 3 laps. The only thing they've really talked about is the right front. Ryan asked the team to check it out, thought maybe he had an issue. They think it looks okay, but they'll take a hard look at that when he comes down pit road next time.
1.3 seconds. Reddick has picked it up. That last lap, he was 0.4 of a second faster than Blaney.
Yeah, when they told him to go, he has definitely pushed the button. But the guy that is the fastest car on the racetrack is Connor Zilisch. And 2 things that they don't want right now, or there's 2 reasons they don't want a caution. One is they don't want to be behind all the guys that pitted, and 2, they don't want to have to race that guy.
He is flying.
Because he is flying.
On the track.
And flying on a day that he's had a lot of a lot of controversy with different situations, and being able to regroup and get himself in a position to make fast laps and be in contention again at the end of this race.
The fastest cars on track on that lap: Zilisch, Reddick, Chastain.
And some of that is for Connor, is just being able to get in that rhythm and understand where he's at with his car. But Jamie, you got some more?
Yeah, Connor Zilisch, just his 6th career start in the Cup Series, working with a brand new crew chief this year. They're still trying to get to know each other, trying to understand when he says he's tight, what does that mean? How tight is he? Or on the flip side. But today he has had his work cut out for him, started 25th. You guys mentioned his issues earlier, going around, flat spotting the tires, having to drive through the pack again. But his car is good, and this kid is focused, not saying anything on the radio.
Well, Randall Burnett, longtime crew chief. Probably good to have that calming influence on a young driver who will be the Sunoco Rookie of the Year this year. He's the only driver eligible.
I agree with you, Mike.
I think he'd win it anyway.
Really good matchup.
Yep.
But this is just it's a super important weekend for this to happen for Connor, with all the hype and all the buildup and not having great finishes in the first 2 races. The expectation coming here was for him and SVG to race against each other. Now, he's had problems today, and my point is he didn't need a 3rd bad day.
Good point. Now, Michael McDowell trying to run them down. That is 4th, 5th, and 6th. Connor Zilisch, born in 2006, did a little kart racing. His dad was a sports car driver and occasional race instructor. They ran MX5 Cup. They worked their way up, and somebody whose name I think was Harvick kind of turned them in the direction of stock car racing.
Well, his dad was, he liked sports cars and racing, but he was actually a banker. And Keelan and Connor and Brent Cruz all raced go-karts together. So those kids stuck out like a sore thumb, and luckily we were fortunate to be able to help them and direct them in the path of NASCAR, and here they are at the top levels of the sport.
27 to go, and Tyler Reddick has indeed legged it out on Ryan Blaney by 1.6 seconds from our aerial coverage, brought to you by Goodyear. Tried, tested, proven legendary.
Really good lap. Last lap around for Reddick. You can see him gapping the 12 car right there.
All right, now you're the 12, and you're falling back from the race leaders. Does that change when you might want to make this pit stop?
Does me.
I think you definitely want to pit before him, but is it 1 lap? Is it 2 laps? If you get the track position, that's going to be your only chance to beat him, because if you wait and don't get it at the beginning of the run, you're not going to be able to beat him on the long run.
I think this last lap by Reddick is the one that's going to, it made a decision for me. Let's look for the 12 to see if he comes.
Well, if we're thinking it, they are.
This time.
And yes,
this time.
It'll be Ryan Blaney to pit road. Now, will Reddick come with him?
Well, either way, all the pressure is getting ready to be on the pit crew. Don't make any mistakes. Don't speed.
First gear 4 red. First gear 4 red.
All right. They're both in. The 2 leaders are on pit road. Jamie.
Well, remember, for Ryan Blaney, he thought he might have had an issue with the right front. That team's going to take a look at it. They already making the air pressure adjustment. That was done a few minutes ago. A 4-tire stop. That is it. Regan.
As soon as we aired the radio of Ryan Blaney's team telling him to hit pit road, the 45 team and Billy Scott, crew chief Billy Scott, got on the radio immediately and said, pit, pit, pit. Originally, they were going to go another lap or 2, but they wanted to offset what the 12 car did. As far as the car, he has been silent all day long. Tyler Happy.
All right, who's going to beat who up pit road? It's going to be even. Wow.
Yeah, they had a little bit of trouble, it looked like, on the right front of Tyler Reddick's car. But if you're Blaney, you want to make this happen quick, because you're better than him at the beginning of these runs the last couple times. And did Tyler Reddick's team make any adjustments to that car to make it take off any better, Clint?
And you see the 20 car, Christopher Bell, right behind him. That was the one that short pitted him. Larry?
7 laps ago.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that the 20 car, Adam Stevens, I think they're going to 2-stop this final stage. They ran 12 laps. They pitted lap 62. Possibly will be coming again about lap 74, 75. I think they're doing something totally different.
Now, who's the new leader? Shane Van Gisbergen. Will those 2 pitting draw him to pit road this time?
You would think. We're going to find out right here.
You're all green. Pitting this time.
Yep.
First gear all green. It's on line now on pit road.
All right, the 97 coming to the attention of Stephen Doran and crew. That will hand the lead to Connor Zilisch, who he doesn't stay on the racetrack. He's on pit road as well. Regan.
Well, Mike, as you see the 97 coming all the way down to the far end of pit road right now. On the radio, it's been struggles with the rear lateral grip all day long. In particular, this last run, though, said I just don't have as much as I need, especially early on in the runs.
Four tires, packet full of fuel, and he's out. as the 45 and 12 go past just about the time Van Gisbergen exits the pit lane.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, you know, SVG's just that far behind because A was already behind, and B waited one lap. So they got a, you know, they got that lap time advantage while he stayed out there.
So here are your leaders, William Byron and Michael McDowell. With Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, then Reddick, Blaney, and Bell.
Yeah, right here, SVG has to do all he can do to not let that 5 car get by him so he doesn't have to waste time in dirty air and trying to get back by Kyle Larson.
So the first 4 cars, as you see how long it's been since they were on pit road, they're the ones that have not yet pitted in this cycle. Michael McDowell to the point, going past Byron. Larry, if you're one of these 4, how long would you want to run this out?
Well, what we're hearing is thinking about William Byron, which he's hitting pit road right now. This is exactly what Rudy Fugle had told him a few laps ago. We're going to go to lap 70 or 71. We're on lap 71.
Now, Michael McDowell is going to stay out. He and Travis Peterson have already used that strategy once this year of staying out when everybody pitted and hoping to capitalize.
Regan?
Well, as William Byron comes down pit road, it's been a number of different things so far this run for him. Took off really good, liked how the car was initially, started to lose the rears, then started to lose the front tires on that 24 car.
Chastain and Cindric in as well. So only McDowell is still out there without yet making this pit stop. Let's get the radio of Michael McDowell and Travis Peterson.
I do not care about them. Our way to win this race is to run about 7 or 8 more and be on massive offense because those guys all shorted.
7 or 8 more. That's contrary, but
well, we know
it
Travis
almost won them the day. What?
That's Travis
Daytona.
Peterson's what that is.
That is
gamble.
Let's go. He is a gambler, and
if that last caution had not come out at Daytona, when the Toyotas slowed down the whole pack for so long, McDowell might have made it to the finish without stopping at all, and just might have won the Daytona 500. But if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
Even with the caution coming out, he had a shot at it.
Yep.
With 1 to go, there he was.
Love a gambler.
And Michael's always done a really good job on these road courses and been strong again today.
And that affords you the opportunity to make those gambles because you got a wheelman behind it, he can back it up.
However, look at the lap times that we're showing you on the pylon. He is 3 seconds slower than Tyler Reddick right now. All right, 26 of 50 laps complete, 24 to go, 3 seconds, 24 laps. Well, you're going to have to come in and get tires and fuel at some point, so it's not going to hurt you for that long, but it's probably their only shot to win this race.
Yeah, and you know, maybe that hope is if you get 10 or 15 laps in and caution comes out and some of these guys come to pit road and you can be at the front of that group that pits. So you never know what's going to happen at the end of these races. These two are just exactly like they have been all day, Mike. They just matching each other's lap times.
But if you look at this graphic, Van Gisbergen and Zilisch, teammates, they're in the best shape on tires, along with Byron and Chastain, who only have 2 laps on theirs. So you can expect each of those cars to kind of cycle their way forward as this goes along. Michael McDowell, with a long run strategy, is out in front at COTA with 23 laps to go. 21 laps to go. Ross Chastain has come undone. He makes it somehow to pit road after a big slide through the gravel and no right rear wheel. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you can see where it was loose right there, but this puts everybody in an interesting spot. Not what Michael McDowell really wanted to see. If he was going to get this caution, he wanted it to be later, but he is going to have some guys possibly pit middle of this field that short pitted, but I'd say all those guys up front, they're pretty much set.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, you got 35 drivers on the lead lap. We're going to probably go back racing with just under 20 laps to go, but you're right, middle of the field on back, they're going to come get 4 fresh tires. This is not what McDowell wanted.
First caution of the day. This is a well-needed break for some of these drivers, I'm telling you.
All right, we got some breaking stories, and Jamie's got a whopper here.
Well, I certainly do, Mike. I've been listening to Alex Bowman, and he's been saying he is sick all race long. He finally just pulled it in. And at the same time, that man right there, Myatt Snyder, is my pit spotter. He's been helping me today. Chad Knaus came up to him and me and said, is it okay if Myatt gets in this race car? And I said, absolutely. So here we are. So Alex is out of the car. Myatt now, he races in the O'Reilly series. He's going to get in Alex Bowman's car and try to salvage some points. Strange turn of events here.
Yeah, because the only driver who's out of the race is Chase Briscoe. And here's Bowman's radio from earlier.
We'll run as long as we can. Your call on you. Don't do anything permanent damage yourself, whatever you got going on here. Yeah, I'm pretty well here, buddy. Buddy, I don't know I'm going to make it. Blake told you a few laps ago, it's your call. It is your call.
So Bowman out, Myatt Snyder in. The man in the white shirt's David Green, a former Busch Series champ who is pretty much NASCAR's safety official in the garage. So NASCAR would have to approve of the driver swap and then supervise this to make sure that all the safety equipment and everything is in place and fitted properly to allow him to get back out on track. So we're under caution with 20 laps to go for the lost wheel on the #1 car. Well, if you're missing football, here's your answer. The United Football League is back this spring with a new season of real pro football. Kicks off March 27th on Fox. Larry, is this a caution that race leader Michael McDowell wanted to see or not?
Absolutely not, because again, as I mentioned, Mike, 35 drivers on the lead lap, basically the whole field. They've got to pit, and I feel like a number of drivers with that many drivers on the lead lap at the front are going to stay out. Middle of the field on back, probably come get 4 fresh tires.
Well, what do you want, fellas? Tires or track position?
I'm always voting for tires. I'd overrule them, come to pit road, and most of the time it was the wrong thing to do, but I always wanted tires.
Today, you need track position. If you're as fast as Reddick, Blaney are, don't beat yourself here.
Yeah, and I guess I'm referring more to those, I don't know, where the breaking point is going to be, but I never wanted to be the last guy on old tires and have everybody behind me. There's not a worse feeling in the world than sitting there 8th or 9th and watching everybody in your mirror pull into pit lane.
Remember that our first 3 races this year were run in very cool temperatures. Snow at Bowman Gray for the Clash. Cold, Florida damp cold for the Daytona 500. And a really chilly Atlanta last week. And here we are in Austin, Texas, turning left and right, shifting 20 to 22 times a lap, and it's 85 degrees out.
Yeah, and on a cool day, it would be a full day's work and make you feel bad as you see Michael McDowell headed to pit road. Christopher Bell, he was running 4th, so we got a bunch of takers.
That's a lot of cars. That's exactly right, Kevin. From 4th on back, puts pressure on those leaders.
Remember, the 20 had pitted way early.
Josh.
Well, that's right. The 20 had short pitted this stage, coming in for the 2nd time in stage number 3. Told the team the longevity of this car was much better on that last run, but said he's still tight in the right turns, loose in the left turns as he stops for that final stop.
Austin Dillon was blocked getting into his pit. Brad Keselowski overshot his pit. A lot of drama here in the pit lane. All right, we'll sort this out for you when we come back. 19 laps to go in Austin.
Next week, NASCAR heads west as it's a triple-header weekend, with ARCA kicking things off from Phoenix on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern on FS1, followed by the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and Cup Series on Saturday and Sunday.
What Tyler Reddick is trying to do, let's show you how difficult it is to win the first 3 races of the season. These drivers each won the first 2, which would include, of course, the Daytona 500. But of all those drivers, the best finish in the 3rd race of the season, I believe Marvin Panch finished 3rd. Nobody came any closer to winning it. All right, so Reddick is the leader. Ryan Blaney is 2nd. He has been looking at Reddick's back bumper for the last 20 laps, and now he's looking at it again, not happy about it.
Why did we come with the 45? I don't know why we did that. They're going to call me super late, or they can't hear it, or something. I can sit behind them all day. Can't pass them. I was hoping we'd get a lap on them or we'd beat them on pit road. But
yeah, well, that's the same thing that we were talking about up here, that was their best chance. So sounds like Ryan Blaney felt that way before. But as you see them choose right here, I'm a little bit concerned if I'm these two guys, just because of the braking capability of SVG going into the corner.
Exactly.
We've seen how
about
savvy
the guy
he
on
is.
his outside?
Yeah, the guy on his outside, Connor Zilisch, he's in the game too, and has the speed to keep up with these guys.
So I can't express how hard it is to lead this group under this circumstance to the top of this hill. Do not overdrive this corner, but if you underdrive it, they're going to get you 3 wide and move you out of the way.
Yesterday, I believe Van Gisbergen restarted 6th.
That's right.
Sam Mayer was the leader, did everything right, dragged everybody up to the top of the hill. Mayer's going to be that green car. He's going to keep everybody wide. Look at Van Gisbergen in the 9. The blue car way to the inside and away with the lead. That was yesterday.
Well, we've seen Briscoe do that on the start of the race.
He was the only one that used enough brake and got his car slowed down. There's a good possibility that that's the same way this is going to go as we go into turn 1.
We've also seen them front 2 cars trying to out-duel one another and drive right off the racetrack just like that. Hard set of circumstances to manage for Tyler Reddick, your leader.
And to be honest, I think if the 97 doesn't get by the 45 and 12 right here, I don't know that he has the pace to actually outpace them.
Now the first car with fresh tires, 5th row on the inside is Chase Elliott in the number 9. We're coming to the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone and coming to 17 laps to go. This restart and turn 1 could decide it all.
Oh, it's going to get rowdy.
Back to green. Van Gisbergen looking really low. And Reddick covers the bottom. 2 cars spin. Zane Smith has spun.
Connor Zilisch.
And Connor Zilisch.
Again. How about this? There he is. So they got him past for 2nd.
Tyler Reddick trying to drive away from Van Gisbergen with Blaney now 3rd.
Van Gisbergen's strong suit all race long. Kevin's been at the end of these runs, on long runs, managing these tires.
Well,
here he comes.
And you can see right now he is giving that thing all that it's got, using every piece of the racetrack, entering, middle, exit. He knows that he needs to get it done as quick as possible. And we've seen how savvy he is in the brake zones. Think back to earlier in that race. Could happen right here. Going into 15 and 16 right here. Wasn't quite close enough, but
coming to 16 laps to go, and no need to save tires now. This is a sprint to the finish. That's Zane Smith, who got turned around in turn 1. And it looks like he has pretty good amount of damage.
Yeah, the wheel was still attached on that one, but there was no tire. All right, so this exit right here, we've seen that this is where the 45 has been really good all day, and that is what the best defense that you can have with the 97 car of SVG back there, getting that space and getting good drive off that corner so that he can't use that braking capability.
Oh, Denny Hamlin in the midst of a big dust up there as they were at the top of the hill. Hamlin up to 5th. He has yet to finish in the top 10 in 5 starts at COTA, but here's Hamlin in the top 5. Elliott looking inside. Remember, Chase Elliott has fresh tires, as does Christopher Bell.
Yeah, and you saw the 9 getting back into the back of the 20. Chase Elliott knows that he needs to take advantage of those tires as well, as quick as he can.
Ty Gibbs trying to take a spot there from Michael McDowell. And he gets past Riley Herbst. Let's go back to that restart and see what happened to Connor Zilisch and Zane Smith.
It's an unfortunate situation. If you look here, you can see Zilisch on the outside, and all of a sudden the dive bombs start coming, but it's actually the 11 gets in the 24, into the 2, into the 38, and then into the 88 is exactly what happened. But that's a product of being on that outside. You can see he's way out here, but watch the 11 get into the 24, turns him right into Cindric, into Zane Smith, boom. Yeah. There he is finally. Man, that's an unfortunate thing. That's a really good car. Drove all the way back up through the field and gets wiped out again at the top of the hill.
Now we're riding with Zane Smith. He was the 4th of 5 cars to the right of the initial contact.
And he had a tire. That's the tire down and Y right there, Kevin.
I've been in a few of those in a turn 1.
Have you been in 2 of them in the same race?
Yeah.
After driving all the way to the front? Buddy.
Austin Cindric, I believe the left front was flat as he came by in the pit lane. Eric Jones also on pit road.
Yeah, you see SVG slip right there, and we've heard him talk about lateral grip all day, but he is driving the heck out of that thing right now and just doesn't quite have the pace. If it's going to happen, it's just going to come from manhandling that car, making it do things that it doesn't want to do.
I'm with you, but
just doesn't have
45 car.
It's got so much pace.
3/10 on in the last lap.
And every time when he's had to today, Tyler Reddick has answered the call and been able to drive away, first from Ryan Blaney and now from SVG. Larry Mack.
Yeah, Mike, 4 races with the Gen 7 car here, 2022 to 2025. Average of the last caution, actually 13 laps to go, which would be about 2 laps from now. But with that said, we've had late race cautions because in those 4 races, 2 overtime finishes.
Yeah, and once those late race cautions start coming, everybody gets braver and braver into turn 1. And what you saw on the last restart will continue to happen, but probably at a higher level as people take more chances.
SVG actually slowed up a little bit more, and Blaney drove back to his bumper.
Yeah, and I think that Blaney car is affected a little more in traffic than probably the Chevrolet or the Toyota. It seems like the Ford is affected more when it's behind a car, and you heard him on the radio earlier just talk about not being able to do anything right behind him.
Well, here's the Hornet's Nest, and there's been a good bit of contact in this group as teammates there side by side. Buescher and Prix. Been a lot of battling back here.
Yeah, well, the further you get back, the harder it is to race.
Yeah, Custer right behind him. Logano, we've not said his name hardly at all today. And Jesse Love for Richard Childress there with Kyle Busch.
You get back here, Clint, your car's not handling good. You got people that are also driving cars that aren't handling good, that are not having a good day. You run into more people, you get run into more.
You're mad, they're mad.
It's a frustrating day when you're back here.
This is where Larry's trend happens, right here.
That's right.
You know, at the back of this group is Brad Keselowski, and Brad has gutted it out today. He is not running the back. There he is, the green car, behind Jesse Love and Kyle Busch. He's going to get himself a top 25 finish out of this, and still recovering from that broken leg. Attaboy. Oh, little bumper tag there. Oh, no. Kyle Busch got into Jesse Love, who got into Chris Buescher, who got off track at turn 20, but continues.
Well, we can go back and find that replay, but this is exactly the situation where Kyle Busch is frustrated because Jesse Love, his teammate, is running in front of him, and Jesse Love went down to block him, and Kyle didn't like it and shoved him up out of the groove, which spun the other car out.
Well, we have some Kyle Busch radio.
Go back and watch the last 5 laps. Tell me that wasn't coming.
Oh, that is not where you want to be 3 wide.
Wow, Todd Gilliland had to give way there to save his car.
Not over yet.
Nope. Prix, Logano, Cole Custer in the white car, Kyle Busch, the black car on the inside. And right behind him, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Prix, the RFK boys trying to gang up on those Chevys.
Well, the guy who made out like a bandit on that is Kyle Busch. I mean, he was in the middle of this pack, and he passed them all.
16th, up to 16th there. And more. All right, Chris Buescher got the worst of it in this one.
Yeah, and the 8 and 33 teammates had been going at it, and then Kyle looked to pass him, and Jesse shut the door, and Kyle didn't like it and shoved him out of the way. And unfortunately, Chris Buescher was right there and got spun out.
And Buescher rejoins in 30th place. That's a tough pill to swallow.
He's starting to run him back down, Kevin. Car's coming to him a little bit. Last time by, Van Gisbergen 140 with a 44 to the leader 140 with a 71, running him down.
Yeah, that 97 is, I mean, it's on the ragged edge. I mean, he's bouncing around,
He's been
sliding.
good on the tail end of these long runs.
He has. You know, I just don't know what to think of Tyler Reddick at this point, because every time they tell him to go and Blaney would catch him, he'd just drive off. But he's got to fend off this guy. He's won 5 in a row.
I'm glad you said that. If you watch Reddick's lap times, about any time somebody puts some pressure on him, he can reach down and get you another couple tenths and drive right back off from him.
Well, if he's going to do it today, he's going to have to beat the best lately at it. Tyler Reddick's got it done here before.
Christopher Bell up to 4th. Remember, Bell has tires that are at least 5 laps better than the drivers he's racing 1st through 5th.
Yeah, and you look at Christopher Bell, made it all the way up to 4th. Ty Gibbs in 6th. Michael McDowell in 7th. Kyle Larson in 8th. So those tires are making a difference for these guys as they're driving back to the front.
He's right on him. Off of 20.
Bell closes on Blaney as they get up to turn number 1. Not quite close enough for a move, but he's right there on those fresher tires.
Yeah, and I think Bell's, I mean, he's going to get around this 12 car, and then it's just a matter of what kind of lap time can he make in clean air as to whether he catches these front 2. But SVG is right on the 45 of Tyler Reddick right now. Reddick actually pulls down the block a little bit right there into 6A.
That's exactly right. Got him looking in the mirror. One little slip up.
Well, the thing that he knows that SVG can pull these crazy surprise moves on you at any given time.
Thought about it right there.
Bell to the inside on Blaney, who has to give him room.
Yeah, and that's going to put him on the outside through this whole section. He's going to try to shoot back underneath Blaney right here. There he does.
Little contact.
These tires are going to mean something.
Clear.
There's a lot of racing left coming to 10 to go.
Christopher Bell to 3rd.
You're right, Clint. 11 laps around this place is a long, long time when your lap time is a minute 40. So a lot of corners, a lot of shifts, a lot of things that happen. So you're right, long ways to go still. He's there this time. Well, he's closer.
He gets right to him. I'm going to tell you, that engine under the hood of that 45's got some steam in it. I've watched him all day long, and it makes some straightaway handling.
That 45, yes, that thing really handles down the straightaway.
Absolutely.
I know just what you mean. Well, Van Gisbergen, if he's got a move to make, he better not wait, because that 20 is closing.
Shane is really good in these S's. Twelve's got a good passing corner coming up. Can he get close enough here?
And Gibbs closing on Blaney. Gibbs with fresher tires.
Yeah, those tires are making a massive difference, and I think that is, when we come by for this next lap, we're gonna see what kind of pace Bell has without having to make a pass. But Tyler Reddick, he has been flawless in defending this lead so far today.
And has to be. Again, one slip up out of that 45 car, and Shane will pounce on him. Not one slip. Fantastic so far. Hit his marks every single time.
I want you to watch these cars go through the S's the next time, Clint. As they go through those S's.
That's Shane's strong suit.
It is, because this is where that street course and all the road racing skill comes together. He's cutting those tire barriers closer. Same thing coming off the 6B. He's able to get closer to the wall in the tire packs, and that's where he's making up a lot of this time.
Reddick.
Yeah,
you want to talk about answering that call? Look at that. 140.93 to a 141.10. Reached down and got him some that last lap. Fantastic lap last time by Reddick. Putting it all together.
Reddick's got the drive off and the straightaway speed. I think Van Gisbergen's best shot is at the end of the S's, 6 or maybe 6A, where he is able to close up on Reddick, and Reddick unable to use that horsepower advantage that he's got.
Back off, get yourself collected here, cool your tires down, cool your brakes off, and go back after it.
You can see him right next to the dirt again, but all that distance that he loses in the other half of the track, he makes up from the exit of turn 1 over to 6B. But he's gonna have to, Reddick's gonna have to make a mistake to just get to a point where he can make something happen in the right spot.
You get close enough to him, you can make him, the closer you are to him, get him looking in the mirror off lane one time, one little slip up.
I don't know, Clint. Ryan Blaney trailed him for 25 laps, got right to his bumper. Reddick never flinched.
Well, buddy, I didn't pick him for no reason. I think my man can do it. We're going for a record here. Got my boss man back 3 weeks in a row. But I got to hold off the best in the business to do it.
And that'd be the best way to do it, to hold off the best in the business to do it.
You're going to do it. You earn it, right? He is really good in the places that he needs to be good at. Again, setting him up off of turn 20 there, leading into this passing zone at turn 1. Kevin, you led to that at the beginning of the show. Reddick drives off from him. Will not let him get close to him where it's dangerous. He can pounce and do a dive bomb pass.
And a lot of that comes from how he can exit turn 20. He's able to get the car rotated, get the angle right off the corner, where SVG is having to just ride that car out further on the exit. Oh, just, Shane is able to just clip those barriers so close, and that's what gains him back, but it's the same cycle every lap.
Yep.
Moving those tire barriers in the S curves, I thought for sure somebody would be in those today, and it hasn't happened.
Eight laps to go here. Next weekend, the Desert Double. IndyCar and NASCAR go back-to-back on Fox at the same track. IndyCar Saturday, NASCAR Sunday. And Saturday, Clint Boyer gets the thrill ride in the fastest seat in sports, the 2-seat IndyCar, to lead them to green. Fox Saturday for IndyCar racing and FS1 Sunday for NASCAR. Join us in Phoenix next weekend.
Looks like the tires have equaled out for Bell. He's kind of just stalled out right there at 3 seconds back.
Yeah, and it looks like as we're going on in this run, same things happening with Reddick to what happened with Blaney earlier in the race. As you get deeper and deeper in, it just seems like he's able to maintain his pace a little bit better, and doing the same thing with Shane behind him.
How about Ty Gibbs there in 4th? The red and white car, and Michael McDowell in 5th. Gibbs won stage 2. McDowell on that long run strategy, the caution that he hoped for. You said hope is never a good strategy. Well, it was today. It paid off for him. He got the caution. He got back out, got up here into the top 5, has passed Ryan Blaney, and moved into 5th. There's Blaney, who challenged for so much of this race, led 11 laps, was the fastest Ford, and in fact still is. Kyle Larson battling cooling suit issues all day on the hottest race day of the year so far.
He's earned that paycheck today.
Yep.
He'll be whooped.
His teammate William Byron, who's had a lot of success here, and Chase Elliott, multiple road course winner. 3 of the 4 Hendrick cars, nose to tail, 7, 8, and 9. And Denny Hamlin who has yet to finish top 10 in 5 starts at COTA. If he can hang on to that spot right there, he will today.
Well, I think he would have that same reaction as the tone in your voice when you said Denny Hamlin top 10. He would be just as surprised with the struggles they've had here.
All right, here's some radio from the second place car.
Just have no speed, sorry. Yeah, just got a grip in comparison.
I think Van Gisbergen's run out of grip.
I think he said no speed, no grip in comparison to Reddick, and the windshield dyno's backing that up.
And that's kind of been the complaint that he's had all day, is just that lateral grip. As we look back through the field at the Hendrick cars, they definitely haven't had the type of day that we've seen them have on some of the road courses in some of the years of domination that they've had, but solid day for all of them.
I put that on that team. Billy Scott and company, Tyler Reddick driving that thing, got up on the wheel, put the thing on the pole, got to clean air track position that he's had all race long, and has made everybody try to go through him, and they can't do it.
Yeah, you see Blaney struggling right there with the back of the car.
And the worse he gets mired back in traffic, I've seen wheel lockups and stuff like that, frustration setting in. It's too bad. They've had a fantastic weekend.
So Larson moves up to 6th. Hard to believe Hendrick Motorsports has only one top 10 finish this year coming into COTA. They're going to get 3 more here, it looks like.
And we would expect, as you see those guys trading some paint right there, we would expect those Hendrick cars to come back and even that number up as we start getting to some of these races. I think that Daytona 500, Atlanta, saw a lot of torn up race cars.
Yep.
Larson going to finish the pass right here on Ryan Blaney, I believe. Yep, got it done right there. So Blaney losing another spot here late after he, like you say, Mike, he's had a great day.
Well, he's still the best Ford in the race. The next one is Joey Logano, his teammate, back in 14th. But
he's been
being first in class doesn't count for much.
All weekend long.
Yep.
Carrying a Ford flag.
Tyler Reddick from the pole, trying to do what in the history of NASCAR since 1949 has never happened. A driver win the first 3 races of the season right out of the box. He has such a point lead. Nobody is within 40 points of him. Some drivers are as much as 100 points behind. That's 60 points behind third, 100 points behind Reddick.
Shows you 2 things. Obviously, he got unscathed through 2 of the most chaotic race weekends we have with Daytona and Atlanta, but he won them both, right? A lot of trouble on everybody's behalf getting through those, and then he comes here and is walking the dog on them as well. It's amazing.
Well, that's a good way to make up for that winless season and everything that they went through last year. And to be in a position to do something that nobody else has ever done in our sport just tells you how special the start of this season has been for that 2311 group and Tyler Reddick.
Flawless. Hasn't slipped a wheel one time, has held him off on restarts. The guys in the pits did a great job. Strategy worked in their favor. That's that momentum, baby. It's on their side.
And think about this, Clint and Mike. When we started practice, we were like, uh-oh, Toyotas are awful. They're in big trouble. And then we got to qualifying, and Tyler Reddick had said, you know, a lot of that, some of that's going to be on me. But they got their cars right, made big adjustments from the things that they did from that start of that practice to where they started to where they are right now and dominating this race. That's why you just got to watch the progression of the weekend and see where it all goes, because you never know.
His teammate Bubba Wallace is 12th. If he can gain 2 more spots, 2311 might just have 3 races with both drivers in the top 10. 148 laps led coming into today. That total is now 202. 5 top 10s out of 6 starts coming in Dakota. Bubba Wallace 12th, Riley Herbst 22nd. Going to be a pretty good day here for 23-11.
Coming back 3 to go, still pulling. Yep, drove away along that lap. Pitch marks, they just went.
And the thing that he doesn't want to hear right now, caution.
Yeah,
oh,
don't
no.
say that.
That's the only thing that you do not want to hear on your radio right now.
I can't believe you just said that.
Well, in the end, I can just blame it on you.
Exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Fastest car on track that lap was Ty Gibbs. In 4th, 6.25 seconds off the lead. But he's making some inroads on Christopher Bell, his teammate. JGR also only had 1 top 10 finish in the first 2 races this year. And it looks like they're in position to get 3 more. With Bell 3rd, Gibbs 4th, and Hamlin 10th. Now in the middle of the first stage, Tyler Reddick, who started from pole, fell to 8th in the middle of that stage and then regrouped.
Yeah, and he came across the radio at that time and talked about not taking off hard enough and felt like he gave up too much time at the beginning of that stage. But once they learned the pace that they needed to run, how hard they needed to push, since that point, it has been lights out, Mike.
Well, 2 drivers, each trying to extend a streak to record numbers. Reddick trying to win the first 3 of the year, and Van Gisbergen in 2nd, trying to win 6 straight road course events. He's tied for the record with 5. 6 would make it all his. And they run 1-2.
This is that important lap, Kevin. Just get me around there to that white flag as fast as possible.
Well, Shane's gave it a valiant effort today. I think all weekend they just haven't quite had the car where they want it to be to keep up with Reddick. Tyler Reddick's had the dominant car, led a bunch of laps again today, and they did a great job all weekend getting themselves back into the game.
You know, we talked at the top of the day about the 3 different segments of this racetrack and how very different they are from each other. And in segments 2 and 3, that's where Van Gisbergen really shows his road race craft on the technical section of the S's and then sliding through the stadium section. But on that long front straightaway, getting off turn 20, getting through turn 1 of the S's, that's where Tyler Reddick has had everybody covered.
I think his biggest strength is the exit of turn 20, and that really makes it look good down the front straightaway. I don't think they're hurting for horsepower or anything, but it really makes it look good because of how well he can get that car pointed on the exit.
And it all started when he decided, I'm going to go out here and put this baby on the pole, get this clean air, and we're going to stay there. It's exactly what he did.
Out of turn 20, back to this long uphill front straightaway.
White flag, no pressure out back.
Tyler Reddick brings it to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
So impressive. There's a lot of things in this race that's impressed me. Obviously, Billy Scott. Kevin, you and I have worked with him before. I think a lot of him. Smart man.
And they give him all the resources that he needs. You think about Michael Jordan, you think about Denny Hamlin, Billy Scott, all these guys, those are the same names that we've been saying for several years now. And when you have that continuity as a group and you go through a year of not having the success that you want, and you can have those hard conversations and things that they have.
Hocevar, front straightaway, slides from turn 20, halfway up the straightaway and into the wall.
Watch for the caution.
He can back it away, and he's going to get going. Whew, we're going to stay green. Hocevar was 31st. Got off in that dirt at the end of the exit off of turn 20. And the car spun on him. Okay, Hart, restart.
Yeah.
Let's finish this off.
They wouldn't have minded it coming out now if you're Billy Scott and Michael Jordan. Believe it or not, I can't believe he's going to have to stay, Kevin. Cannot miss a race now.
Guess we'll see him in Phoenix.
Well, they said this could not be done. Winning the first 3 races of a NASCAR season. No one has ever done it. Not since 1949. It happens today. Three-peat for Tyler Reddick. 23-11 in Toyota.
Okay, guys. Great work. Bo, Darrell.
Shane Van Gisbergen second. Christopher Bell, Michael McDowell, Kyle Larson.
Wow.
Elliott by inches over Blaney for 7th. Allmendinger 9th, and Denny Hamlin gets his first top 10 at COTA.
That's a butt whooping, Kevin.
That's a statement, and you talk about the 2 racetracks that we raced on in Atlanta and Daytona, and how many things have to work out for you to win. When you come here, this is a driver's track, a team track, and putting it all together says a lot about where they are from a performance standpoint today.
The last driver to win 3 straight in the Cup Series was Christopher Bell last spring. Both of them had a COTA win as part of their 3 in a row. And COTA is Tyler Reddick's first track with multiple victories. He's now a 2-time winner here.
And I believe the first 2-time winner in the track history. We've had 5 different winners.
That's right. Yes.
I was impressed with a lot of things. Obviously, Tyler Reddick in their car. Van Gisbergen show as we thought he would. I'm a believer in the Zilisch, Kevin. His finish isn't going to be there. We're not going to see that on a stat sheet. But he got wiped out twice and drove right back up through them.
Big spin for the fans up there at turn 1. Let's go down to the winner's pit. Jamie.
Michael Jordan is out of breath. That's 3 weeks in a row. 77-year history of NASCAR, Michael. This has never been done. What can you say about the domination by your team today?
It's time for change. Time for change, and the guys feel the same thing. And you know, Tyler came in with the most pressure, I guess. Everybody expected him, or he had a chance to win 3 in a row. That's the hardest one to win, you know. And he kept to his strategy, and man, the guys put together a great car, man. And I think Billy did an unbelievable job in calling the game, calling the race, and Tyler did a good job. He beat some good competition. I mean, when you see SVG coming back there, you get a little nervous, but I think he had him covered pretty much the whole day.
Michael, the records, the wins, the trophies, what does this all mean to you as a team owner here in this sport?
Well, I'm proud of the team that we put together. I mean, Denny, I'm pretty sure it's the same way. He feels the same way as I do. And I think a lot of credit goes to him because I think he's the mastermind behind finding Tyler and putting together, you know, Billy Scott and all that. Look, I just put up the money. I'm just a competitor. But I think Denny's done an unbelievable job in terms of helping build this team. And I think the team has done a good job in just taking our leadership and going out and winning. That's what it's about, winning.
So we're going to see you in Phoenix?
I'll be in Phoenix. I'll be in Phoenix.
How about that? Last year, no victories. His baby son with serious health issues. Tyler Reddick's focus was on the racetrack, but it was not a great season. All that is behind 23-11 and the Reddick family now. And 2026 could not have gotten off to a better or a more unbelievable start.
It has been incredible. What a burnout right there by Reddick.
Can't script it any better, can you?
A.J. Allmendinger getting assistance. Tyler's son Bo helps him celebrate. What a moment. The 30-year-old from Corning, California has his 11th career win and an unprecedented three-peat to start the season.
Let's go, dude. History.
Has this been a season or what? Josh Sims.
Tyler Reddick gets to celebrate making history in NASCAR, celebrating with the family, celebrating with team co-owner Michael Jordan, and of course, his kids, Tyler. No one has ever won 3 races to start a year. You make history here today. What does that mean to you?
It means the world. Yeah, you know, it's so fitting. You know, we get going at the end there, and I'm leading, and there's SVG, the guy I've been trying to beat for a while now, and just you know, to be able to outlast him there and hold on for the win is just, it's incredible. We just really proud of the Showman Casino Toyota Camry, everyone at 2311. We worked really hard. We did not like getting beat like that at road courses, and it's one race, but it was so important, you know, so fitting that we were able to get 3 in a row and make history.
Bring me through those final laps, because you talk about being able to hold off SVG, who's one of the best to do it on road courses. What were the nerves like, and what were you telling yourself in that moment?
Yeah, just trying to remember everything that I knew was going to be important there at the end, and just tried to minimize the mistakes. Shane is just, that's what he's so good at, man. He does not make mistakes, and I certainly made a couple, and just doing everything I could to just manage the gap and just stay away from him, if you know what I mean. If I let him get close enough, it was going to be probably hard to hold him off.
Tyler Reddick with the three-peat to start the year.
The Reddick family and team celebrate this incredible 3-in-a-row start to 2026. We'll be back to Circuit of the Americas.